Today's episode is brought to you by Liquid Death. All right. All rise. That's what they say sometime. You know, if I was working at a courthouse, I would probably say that a lot. All rise. Somebody says it. I don't know who. Or if I worked at a bakery and I was like in there by myself all night, maybe I'd dress up in like the judge, that's who says it. So if I worked at a bakery, maybe I would dress up in like a judge's outfit. Because I know a girl named Gwendolyn. And she works at a bakery and she's in there by herself. If you want to kill somebody, dude, which you shouldn't, obviously, but if you wanted to, a baker they get there at like 2:30 or 3. They in there baking, wearing aprons, sexy, you know. But anyway, I don't condone any of that kind of behavior. But what I'm saying is, if you were a baker, you could put on a judge's outfit and get right up by the oven, by the glass, and be like, "All rise." That's what I would do. I mean, I'd be so damn bored. You're in there all night. Just looking at bread, bruh. Just breading around. Doing that French bread where they braid the bread. Whatever that is. Dude, we had a handicapped brother by us growing up, this dude. I don't remember what his name was. I don't even know. He might not have had a name. And they would, and his legs, he didn't have any bones or in his legs or whatever. And they would braid his legs around each other. They had, he was paraplegic, and his legs were cornrowed. And they still had some dope-ass sneakers on the end of them. So, diversity, babe, you feel me? Diversity. Let's get into it. All right. All rise. I'm upstairs. If you need me, baby, I'm upstairs. Man, that's one thing that's real magical about just the greatest excuse ever on earth. Your wife needs you, somebody needs you, a kid, your wife's kid, your kid also. And you're like, I'm upstairs. Okay? Dad, I'm upstairs. The ultimate get out of jail free card. If they ever even put me on trial, speaking of judges and rising and all of that, if they ever put me on trial, they'd be like, did you do it? I'd be like, I was upstairs, guys. Okay? Have you ever been upstairs? Okay, I was upstairs. I'm upstairs. They're like, sir, were you at the scene of the crime? We found your footprints. You found what? I was upstairs. You should have an upstairs on your house, even in case you ever and somebody dies at your house. okay? And it's probably going to be either your wife or husband if you have a gay husband. And because there's not a lot, that's really, if somebody kills somebody, and I'm not saying to do any of this, but if somebody kills somebody, that's who they kill. They killed the person that they used to do sex with, usually. And anyway, but you gotta have the upstairs, because otherwise there's no, where I was downstairs, then, bro, you qualify. You really, you right there. You localated around the crime, baby. You know that. What's going on? Not much, per the usual, I was in La Jolla this weekend, which means, I don't even know what it means. La Jolla? La Jolla? The Hoyas? The Hoyas? I don't know. Maybe people that went to Georgetown or something. I don't know. The Hoyas? Yeah, I was in the Hoyas, and first of all, my favorite comedy club there, trying to get the new tour, the new material on track. So many people came out, man, and it was fun, dude. And it was fun just learning, like, the first show. It kind of built over the weekend. So in the first show, it was a little bit, I didn't know the order. I wanted some of the jokes to be in, some of the stories. I'm trying to remember, and I'm trying to record and write down the notes after. And it matters my mood, too. If my mood is a certain type of way, then I'm not going to do as well. I want to be in a good mood, so my material comes off in a good mood. That's paramount or tantamount. I don't know which one it is. It's paramount or tantamount. Tantamount sounds like she's a little thick, you know what I'm saying? But paramount sounds like she's definitely, she went to juvie, for sure. She went to juvie, and she definitely dated a couple brothers. You know what I'm saying? Gang, gang, boy. Beige power, son. But anyway, so, yeah, it was so much fun, man. It's just such a fun spot to perform because the room is so simple. It's a simple room. And there's no, like, they're not selling a bunch of riblets or whatever, a bunch of, grilling up a fucking Lunchable or trying to, get you over on some bullshit. They got 2 items in there. 3 items, actually. Drinks, popcorn, comedy. That's it. And usually they have a piano up front. The guy, I don't think he died. I thought he died, but they said he didn't die, but I'm like, if he's not dead, dude, then where is he? Because it's an older guy. And Luis is his name. Beautiful guy, too. He's got a wife, he had a wife. I don't know what's going on with him, and she's a comedian as well, and she's got some bangers on her. She got them front yams, baby. You know what I'm saying? Them all rise. All right, boy, I'd freaking stay right through the glass at them bad boys, I'm upstairs, dude. Bro, them things, you'll be upstairs if you stand on them, but anyway, I don't even know what I'm saying, but he plays the piano usually up there. And what I like about that, as opposed to a lot of clubs, they're pumping in like, Freddie Mercury or, who's that other guy that's like Freddie Mercury? Jerry somebody? The little guy, he's like, and the song might not have been theirs. You know you want it. What's that song? Shit, I don't know. Anyway, dude, they play the piano in there. Bruno Mars. They play the piano in there. That's what I wrote. Not Freddie Mercury. I was thinking I went Mercury, Mars. That's where I was trying to get. Mars, Bruno Mars. Bruno Mars. And anyway, a lot of clubs pump that in there. But at the La Jolla Comedy Store, they play the piano. So when you sit down as you go there as a clientele, it feels like you're there for a piece of art. You hear piano, you're like, oh, this has an artistic feel to it. So I really like that. And man, I just so much love, man, out of that area, out of San Diego. And the city, dude, I know San Diego, dude, without Diego, I guess it means, you know? And I don't know if he's a missing person or what, that whole deal, what happened, you know? He's basically he's like the male Natalie Holloway of Southern California, I guess, or whatever. But San Diego, I don't know if there's a better city out there. I really don't. You're outside, there's people walking by, it's diverse, but just the vibe, everything can happen. We went to the Padres game, bro. Went to watch the Drays over there. And dude, it's everything going on. There's some lady you could join MS-13 in one area. There's people that are like MS-14 through 18, like the high school group of it or whatever. You know, there's MS-30. It's like dudes that are still alive barely, but they aren't in the gang anymore, and they're face painting like fryers on kids' cheeks over there, and they all got dogs from the government to help them feel better. And they got what else, dude? You could buy jewelry, you could catch a home run. They got people. I mean, they got a booth over there. You could get breastfed horchata if you want. They got beers, water. Dude, it's just everything is going on. You could buy a grill. You could get barbacoa. Just so much stuff. They had they discontinued the kiss cam because of COVID, which is like, dude, come on, bro. You know, it should be you bring somebody you don't want to be with or don't really like, and you got to kiss them, land them lips on them. So, but dude, it's just a beautiful place. If you haven't been to see a game there, to watch the Drays play, baby, I don't know. And then this man, used to be a boy, hits a Cronenworth, I think. Larry Cronenworth, I think. Bro, or Lawrence maybe, I don't know what his full name was, but bro, bottom of the ninth. I'm upstairs, bro. All rise. Bro, the place went bananas, dude. I mean, just full potassium, dog. People were losing their shit. Some lady gave birth to the baby and put it back in, dude, so she could finish watching the end of the game. People were hyped. Everybody in there is just wearing these necklaces, these spinners. They got, I mean, it's everything. And they just do such a good production of doing the game. You feel like you're having fun. Dude, the guy gave me a free Frank at the Frank Center. Free Franks, bro. Free Franks, dude. And then a beautiful part, man, for me was I went to get to look at the barbacoa store, and the guy working there, one of the guys working at the ballpark, was coming to the show that night. So he's like, "Bro, I'm coming to see you tonight." And man, it was just awesome. Just so much love there. I personally felt so loved, and just a good time, man. A good time. I stayed at a hotel that was a dump. I wouldn't have minded if it wasn't high priced, you know. It was like the last room in town. Dude, at one point, the guy came to my room and asked me if I had a wrench, bro. Some guy working there asked me if I had a wrench. I guess just that's I think that's cultural appropriation. Just because of how I look, whatever. The guy's like, hey, man, can I borrow a wrench? Like, what? Like, dude, can I borrow some clean water so I can put it in the swimming pool? Oh, there was like hair coming up. There was a Loch Ness monster in that bitch, dog. And even he wasn't doing well. He had COVID, I think. And I don't like to bag on places. I love a Hampton Inn, But this place, man, it was just, I don't know what the staff was all nice. I'm not saying that, but I would not stay at this joint. Just some dicey stuff. They said it's haunted. I was like, dude, I don't know if that's haunted. I think it's just my room smelled like it had definitely been haunted by somebody doing dumps in it. Somebody doing, who's that guy with no head or whatever? Ichabod Crane, bro. Like he was doing dumps or horses were or something. It definitely. Nice place. Looks good in pictures, bro. But anyway, I shouldn't really be complaining about that. What else? I got to go on Jocko Willink's podcast. That was interesting. Actually, you know what? I'm going to talk about that. Let me talk about, we had some responses. You guys called in about some responses to last week's episode. Some thoughts that you had on different things, and I want to get into those. And I also want to let you know, though, that Bridge Credit Solutions is different. And this is true, man. This is a company that helped me. I was trying to get a home. I was trying to buy a home and be a homeowner. And a homeowner like land and stuff like that, not like somebody trying to love men that is men. So I got hooked up with this company through a friend of mine from recovery, actually, and my credit had bad dings on it. I've forgotten to pay a couple things, bro. I've forgotten to pay for I missed some payments on the television, and I missed some payments on. I missed about 7 payments on a Honda Accord. So anyway, Bridge Credit Solutions is different. They are backed with a 100% money back guarantee for any items that cannot be removed from your credit. You will not find that anywhere in the credit repair industry. You know exactly what you're paying for at the beginning of the repair. No open-ended monthly fees. It's written in the contract what work is to be done and how much you're paying. You will need to have Bridge report access prior to scheduling your audit. We cannot go over your credit report without this. It costs just $1. No job is too big or too small. Bridge Credit Solutions caters to all types of clients, no matter their financial situation. These guys helped me get my credit score high enough so I could buy a home. I couldn't buy a home. I said I want a home. They said, what about that Honda, bro? You didn't pay for the Honda from July to frickin' Christmas. I said, well, bitch, what? All right. Since y'all going to be tattletaling on everybody. But Bridge Credit Solutions, they're an upstairs business, baby. That's right. They will guarantee removal of certain negative items in as quick as 24 hours. Schedule your free credit audit in 3 easy steps and get a free 3-bureau credit report, $25 value, with 30 days of free credit monitoring and identity theft protection. That all sounds like a lot. But look, I'm telling you, if there's something in your life that you would like to do and your credit is affecting it, bridgecreditsolutions.com/THEO. Go there to schedule. Once scheduled, a Bridge Credit strategist will contact you to review your report with you. I got a text the other day, man, out of the blue. And I am happy to share this, man. This really made my weekend. This is real, man. Hey, buddy, I followed your advice to get my credit rebuilt through the guy you were advertising. Mine was as low as it got 6 months ago. And today I bought my little family a house. You're really out here. Thanks so much, brother. All the best to you. And man, this is just cool. And I'm going to put this picture up. The baby looks like it definitely does not want to be living with the parents, but man, this was awesome. And I feel the same way, bridgecreditsolutions.com/THEO. They won't take advantage of you. If they can't help you, then it's not going to cost anything, gang. What else? Oh, we had some news that happened, man. Oh, dude, Patty Pimblett. Let's start there. A little bit of news for you. If you're not familiar with this dude, he's British, brother. And he's a hunter. He looks like all the Beatles if they just went to the gym. He looks like Matthew, Mark, who's the other guy? John, and what's the other guy? The little guy. Ringlet. He looks like all the Beatles if you, yeah, Matthew, Mark, John, and Ringlet. He looks like all the Beatles if they just went to the gym and did no music or drugs. And then, so the fight was crazy, man. He's real frenetic. He's got a lot of static energy. You ever take something out the dryer and it makes all that crackling sound when you stretch it, when you pull it apart? Take the sock off the sweater and it's like, or you ever slide your feet across the carpet at the library and then just go shock a motherfucker? Patty's got that, bro. Patty's got that, dude. The best was, though, after the fight, he starts just rattling off all kinds of quotes. All the quotes, man. I can strike. I can grapple. I'm the new king. The new king is here, lad. I can wrestle. I can do the electric slide, man. The redcoats are coming. Give me Adesanya or give me death. Float like a butterfly. Sting like a big girl from Newcastle. He just started going into any quote that had ever been. It was like so much hype. It was too much, And then he just started just rattling off random positive quotes. He's like, give a man a fish and chips and he'll fish and chips for a day. But teach a man to fish and chips and I'll beat the fuck out of every last one of you. Like it just started to get, it started to just get insane. And then he just went into like just Beatles quotes. He's like, blackbird singing in the dead of night. Take this broken bastard I just beat and teach him to fight. You pieces of shit. I'm a legend. I'm a king. I'm John Wick. He's just rattling off I get by with a little help from my fists and I'll beat the living lips off of you, man. You're gonna know who I am. Nothing's gonna change my world. Nothing's gonna change my world. Except all these cash and prizes, bitch. I'll hard scarf your mother, son. He did every hype thing you could do at once. But suddenly, boom, I'm talking about him. Other people are talking about him. He'll be Brendan Schaub's favorite fighter. It gets how it gets, man. It's like, that's a unique thing about today. You can create your own hype. And Patty Pimblett, dude, he did. He literally just said everything that was like ever hypeful ever, So I'm here for it, man. I'm here for Patty Pimblett. I'm here to see how it goes down. And he's also in, I believe, I don't know that much about UFC and about fighting, but I love it. It's become my favorite sport over the pandemic. And he's in the 155 weight class. Could it get any crazier in there? Could it get any crazier? So just the people he could be fighting down the line. It's so hype. It's so hype, man. What else we got? You guys had some responses too to some of the chatter from last week about some of the stuff I talked about the vaccine and about the Pledge of Allegiance teacher. And I appreciate those. And I'm going to get to those in just a few minutes. I want to tell... Oh, this is what else happened. Joe Rogan had COVID and he took ivermectin. His methods included taking ivermectin, a deworming veterinary drug, if you believe in veterinary, that is formulated for use in cows and horses. While a version of the drug is sometimes prescribed to people for head lice or skin condition. Now, look, I've had head lice. I probably had head lice, I would say 13 times. Maybe 14 times. Maybe 13. Maybe a baker's dozen. All right. Dude, I'm upstairs. You upstairs. When you have head lice, dude, you're upstairs all day. You're itching the top floor, dog, you know? So yeah, I noticed a lot of articles, people trashing. What is he does, you know, this guy, what is an idiot, you know? He's taking this. Why would he do it, you know? Dude, I've always found, I think it's brave to try something. Whatever happened to that thing? Hey, maybe this guy found it. Maybe this worked for him. I don't think he's out there saying it's going to work for everybody. But also the people writing a lot of articles trashing him about it. Dude, he's such your daddy. He's your daddy because you're only writing that article to get the links, to get the people to link on it. So you could get your money, get your little $50, $70. And that's Daddy Joe. Making you money, boy, keeping you in business. He's out there trying different things. And Joe Rogan's not going to try something that's dumb. Have you seen Joe Rogan? If there's many things he cares about, one of them is his physical health. Dude, the first time I ever even met him, he was coming out of a damn a portal. He'd been in, I swear to God, he'd been in some type of portal to a nether sphere or something where, you know, they put alien fat into your limbs or something. I don't know. I mean, just the guy's always trying something new. So I think this is brave. I think it's brave of him to try it, and especially if it worked for him. He got it for a couple days. He got sick, and he got better. I think he beat it in 3 days. And look, this is one of the, and this isn't me patting Joe Rogan on the back, you know. He's not my daddy, you know. He's my uncle, I think. You know, Uncle Joey's my uncle. Uncle Joe, Uncle Tom Segura, not the whatever the other guy did that I think was kind of somebody did something bad, but Uncle Bert, Uncle Sebastian. I mean, those guys are guys that I would go to for suggestions. I know if I needed some help, they would reply. Uncle Jocko, you know, different guys. Uncle Poirier. But Joe Rogan's a smart guy that cares about his health. So I don't think like, oh, and it says, what does it say? The FDA is urging people to stop taking the drug to fight COVID-19. But my thing about the FDA is, and look, I'm an idiot. Okay? I'm just thinking out loud. But is the FDA compromised? That's what I worry a lot about the FDA. Because I bought some of their meat, you know, and it's good, but it's not all 90% lean, that's for sure. And is the FDA compromised? Dude, everything's compromised. I remember our school board was compromised growing up. Dude, we had to drink bad milk for a year. We were drinking sour milk because the guy there was banging what was that milk company boss called? Yeah, the guy was banging one of the boarding chicks, the superintendent or whatever. So we're out there, dude, every day at lunch just sipping. Man, this shit was on the cusp, bro. I'll tell you this, if you got that shit at about 11, it was still digestible. If you got that little milk bag, that lunch bag, about 11:40, ooh, That shit just it tasted like it tasted like I had a little pickleback shot at the bottom of the bag, baby. So I just wonder how compromised is it? And I'm kind of a skeptic. I am skeptical, you know? I am skeptical of a of everything these days. A lot of things are compromised. That's money, man. That's big business. So I don't know, man, but I think the fact that if Joe Rogan tries it, he's a brave dude. He's tried a lot of things that have helped a lot of people. You know, he really is kind of he's a guinea pig in a lot of ways, and I think that's brave. You know, he encourages me to want to try different things to see if they work for me. Now, this could be risky. I don't know everything. I'm not telling people to go try ivermectin. I don't know that much about it. But there's been a lot of people who have said, there's been a lot of talk about it helping people. So, I don't know. I think he's brave enough to do it. I would like to see that article more. Hey, here's a guy who's brave enough, who's got a lot to he's got a wonderful life. You know, he's got a comfortable, neat life where he's doing interesting things all the time. But his health, he cares about it. I know he does. The first time I met him, he was coming out of a medical clinic in the elevator. And I was just like, I just met him and he's doing something, doing stem cells. We've got some new stem cell bubble gum or something. He's always. So anyway, I think it's brave, man. I think it's interesting and brave, and maybe I'll get to talk to him about it firsthand one day. What else? What else do we have? Let's get into some of you guys' calls, man. We're not going to make this a super long episode today, and that's okay. Going to take it easy. And then I'll talk about going over to Jocko's too. But let me put the headphones on. Yeah, it was fun this weekend. Mike Clevenger came out. And who else? Mr. Frazier, Mr. Musgrove. Some of the Dre's players came and watched the show on Sunday. And Ari Manis was performing. And he's a huge Padres fan. Like, I went with Ari. And Brittany Schmidt, another comedian who was opening up, and so it was so cool. I didn't know Ari was such a big Padres fan. So man, I got to sit next to somebody. He was just sharing so much good information and telling me all these things, and man, it was awesome. But if you have a chance to go watch them and watch that, and the guy hit it in the bottom of the ninth. Chris Chenoweth or whatever the guy's name was, man. Dang city, dude. I'm upstairs. Bro. It was sick. And we literally ran out to beat traffic, dude. I think we made it to the parking lot before he made it around the bases, bro. The second he hit that bastard, man. Because we had to get back for the show. But yeah, just exciting, man. A great weekend over there in San Diego and La Jolla. And thank you guys for welcoming me. One more ad. That's all we got in this. One more ad. To a friend of mine, my friend Tim. I grew up playing basketball for his dad, this fella. And I remember it gave me a lot of confidence playing basketball when I was maybe 11 starting. I didn't get into it. I didn't know they had it. And I got into it. And now he runs this wonderful company, and they built our website. They just built my friend Megan's website. She's a therapist in Bend, Oregon, and they just started her website. But they did ours, and we really like it, and we're grateful to them. Modify is the company. The last website you'll ever need. Modify. It's a warm blanket of awesome. That's right. If you don't like to spend a lot of money or want to do it yourself, Modify can help. No cost to build, no contract, 45-day turnaround, unlimited revisions and support, easy editing tools, free redesigns, satisfaction guaranteed. All for just $249 a month. Now it really seems too good to be true, doesn't it? It seems too good to be true. $249. They're going to assure you, and they fix it up. They fix your logo, bro. They fix this, that, do the buttons. You want to revamp, they'll help you do that. They'll figure it out. You're communicating with them. To learn more about the last website you'll ever need, visit modify.com/Theo and get a $250 credit when you subscribe for your world-class website. Again, that's that's Modify with a PH, modiphy.com/THEO. These guys don't F around. Gang, baby, you know that. And I'm grateful to them, man. And I once broke into that guy's house, and I drank a ton of water when I got in there. They had a lot of clean water at their house. And because they had one of those machines. I never seen that thing with a big jug with the red and blue button. And I drink a little bit of red and then have a lot of blue real quick and my tongue would burn. And I went in there and I shouldn't have done it, but I broke in there when they weren't home to drink all that water, bro. They had that shit I'd never seen it, that tank, baby. God, it was beautiful. And then I got tired because I drank so much water. I think your electrolytes get dizzy if you have too much water. And then I laid down on this floor to take a nap and urinated all over the floor, bro. Dude. And I feel bad, man. They came in. I think they thought I was dead. I think they thought it was blood. I was just laying there in this huge, oh, man. But they were good to me, and I'm grateful that they have a nice business now, and that, and that they built us a nice website. You can check mine out, theovon.com. You can also go to theovon.com/tour. To get tickets. There's still some shows on the new tour coming up. There might be some tickets, a few left. I'm going to start the tour over a few more practice dates in Peoria, Illinois, in a small town, smaller city over there. That area is near and dear to my heart. My mother grew up over there, and I love my mother, and we'll see if there's maybe not some good causes we can donate to while we're in town. And they used to say if it'll play in Peoria, it'll play anywhere. It was like the middle of America. So I'm excited about that. We got St. Louis. Cincinnati still has some shows for the Saturday late show. Cincinnati still has some tickets. Man, a lot of these are sold out. Chattanooga, Durham, Knoxville, Wilmington, Minneapolis, Wilkes-Barre, Charleston, Richmond, Baltimore, Burlington, Albany, and Buffalo all still have tickets available. We may put some new dates out. We'll see. I'm kind of monitoring my health at the same time, make sure I can handle it. Going to get some blood work done tomorrow. Make sure I'm staying upstairs. And see what's wrong downstairs, dude. Not in my wiener, but just something's wrong. Something's wrong in my body. I don't know what's going on, but it's been happening for a few years now, and it's just debilitating. There's some debilitating thing going on, and I've been trying to figure out what it is, and I haven't been able to yet. So, not going to give up. That's for sure. What else? We had some calls that came in from you guys, and I'm grateful for you guys calling in. Here we go. Right here, let's get into a couple of them. Yeah, I had spoken on the Pledge of Allegiance. We had the teacher that didn't like the Pledge of Allegiance, and here were some thoughts.
Hey, Theo. My name is Alexis. I'm just calling in response to the girl who disrespected the flag, and I just wanted to say that.
Yeah, thank you for calling, Alexis. Yep, and that was in response, to what we talked about last week. The teacher who wasn't real sure about the flag stuff, and we'll put that video in right here.
Okay, so during third period, we have announcements, and they do the Pledge of Allegiance. I always tell my class, stand if you feel like it, don't stand if you feel like it, say the words if you want, don't have to say the words. So my class decided to stand but not say the words. Totally fine. Except for the fact that my room does not have a flag. It used to be there, but I took it down during COVID because it made me uncomfortable. And I packed it away and I don't know where, and I haven't found it yet.
All right, onward, Alexis.
My family came here from Cuba, and they were escaping a brutal dictatorship and a brutal government. And I still have family there, so it hurts to see when Americans here can appreciate the freedoms we have, because, you know, I have plenty of family members back in Cuba who would be willing to trade places with her, seeing as they can't post freely online, they can't speak their minds, and they're starving. It's unfortunate to see, but I just wanted to share my thoughts, so thanks.
Gang, baby, bienvenidos, Cuba Libre. Yeah, it's interesting, it's interesting how our perspectives can be so different. Yeah, I thought about this more afterwards. This teacher said that she felt like the American flag caused conflict in her class, and I remember when I was a kid, we didn't love America. We were just in the country. I think everybody loved the Olympics when it came on. We were all on the same squad. The players were all excited to be playing for the country. It felt like there was more unity. But I remember we had a teacher, this lady, Barb Allinger. And Barb Allinger was all about the Pledge of Allegiance and dang red, white, and blue, just the freedoms. She taught us all about America, the history. Oh, the class was a history of America. So we're just learning about all the articles and the Declaration, just all that kind of stuff, just high school level stuff. But she is the one, because if anyone spoke ill about America, she put her foot down. So I remember that she used her space in our life as a leader, as a teacher, because not all teachers are leaders and they're not all seen that way, especially when you're a child. But she chose to say, well, I'm going to use this as a way, see if I can bring these kids to all have some of the same appreciation that I have. So I found that was interesting. Whereas this teacher seemed to just have a kind of a different idea. She was just, I don't know. I just felt like that teacher had made it more about her. But then also we live in a country, yes, where people have the different freedoms to think and feel and say whatever you want. I mean, there's definitely way too many voices out there these days. But that's easy for me to say as I publicly share my voice. It's not hypocritical. Since I understand it, I feel like it takes some of the hypocrisy out of it. But I don't know. I think it's interesting. It's like, because I feel like if we can all find ways to come together, then it's more of a healing and it's more of a unified space that we're working from. So if I am in a position of if I'm a teacher or something, I can use my platform to have my students say, and maybe they are creating the discussion more in that lady's class. I don't know. I think she lost her job or they put her on leave of absence. So, but she'll still get paid probably. And that's pretty lucky. I bet, yeah, in Cuba, that's not the option. Dude, I remember going to Cuba. I went to your country, Alexis, one time, and when I was a student, we went over there. And Fidel Castro came and spoke to us. He came and spoke to our group. We were students, estudiantes. And it was just like 3 or 4 hours. He spoke for 3 or 4 hours, dude. He's basically like the Spanish Joe Rogan, bro. But only he was talking. You didn't get to say anything. So it was just more of like, just not really like that. But anyway, it was just him rattling off different information about how good things were going in Cuba. It was a lot of propaganda. And they did have like a lot of they had some, what did they have, lunch? They had like a light lunch. It was like couple meat trays, which was really bizarre, dude. I mean, there's a couple thousand people in there listening, and there's some light charcuterie out front. But I do remember going to the bookstore there, and the books all started with Che Guevara and Fidel Castro, there was no history beyond that. You couldn't get a history book before that. It was as if them saying, this is where the history starts, with us and only us and our thoughts and views. But yeah, I found that to be pretty interesting. I remember people would come up by the windows and try to tell us secrets or ask us for help, and we were just, getting drunk college kids. But beautiful place, beautiful people. We went and saw some baseball, and we had a really nice time over there for what it was. I mean, we're just tourists, We had another call that came in about the Pledge of Allegiance. Here we go right here. Thank you for this call.
Hey, Theo. It's your boy Andrew from Minnesota, and I'm just calling on your thoughts about the flag and that lady's thoughts about the flag.
What's up, Andrew from Minnesota? Thank you for calling, man. And Minnesota's a good place to really be nice to people and agree with people, I feel like. And also wear a coat while you're doing it. Gang, baby.
So I got to be quick and get it all out there. So I think the flag is a representation, a symbol of unity, liberty, and justice. Now, I don't understand how anybody could think that that's a bad thing, and I understand you feel the same way. However, there's been a lot of brainwashing going on, I think, and I think it's kind of obvious to a lot of people that's been going on because we're surrounded by a bunch of other older countries that really don't like our idea of liberty and justice and unity. So I think a lot of manipulation on the internet ever since it's been devised has kind of warped a lot of people's thoughts into maybe it's not such a good thing to support the idea of the flag because our government is not the greatest and our government does a lot of shady things. Well, our flag didn't do that, and our flag represents the land. I think it's very simple when you think about it that way. You don't have to hate the flag. There's nothing wrong with the flag. It's just a symbol that represents the land we're on, and it's supposed to stand for unity, liberty, and justice.
Right. Got you. Okay. Onward.
So if you, for some reason, you don't like that, the thing is that there's liberty in that word, or in those three things. You have the freedom to not like the flag. You don't have to like the flag. And so I think that you can practice freedom like that. So the lady that you were talking about, she rejected the idea of the flag. And I think that maybe she shouldn't be reprimanded for that. Perhaps, everybody should have the freedom to understand where she's coming from and the freedom to reject her ideas. So anybody that, if they've got people have kids in their class, they don't like that, well, move them out of her class. You have the freedom to do that. And so we can practice freedom in that kind of way. And we don't have to be so divisive and so hateful, because I think the Sanskrit meaning of the swastika used to be something about peace and love, and it was a good religious thing. Now I think that's been warped, and we can see what happens to a symbol. If enough hate is put onto it, it will become a hateful symbol. So what will the American flag look like 100 years from now? Will it be a peaceful unity, justice, liberty, or will it be something that's been warped through propaganda and through manipulation? What will we choose right now? Because we are standing on the ground, moving underneath us. So I feel like people just need to possibly look at it from that way, or they don't have to. They have the freedom to not. They have the freedom to reject this entire idea. And that's fine. So that's my thoughts, and thank you for listening.
Gang, brother. Yeah, no, I love your thoughts, man. And I appreciate you being able to share your thoughts in a way that's able for me to understand them. And sometimes it's hard to get the thoughts from my brain to my mouth. But I appreciate you doing that. Yeah, you're right. I mean, yes. So anyone has the freedom to share how they want. And yeah, a lot of stuff is so divisive these days. And a lot of people are using things to divide, like using tactics or making as much division. I mean, the internet and social media, there's so much division on it. And that's become such a business. And business is become, and everything has become a business. Even our unity. And separate and putting wedges in our unity, that has become a business. And if you don't think that there are dark arts out there doing that, then that I think you might be not thinking that good, to be honest. Because that's one thing that's become so wild with social media and with the way that we communicate now is there's so much business attached to it. And we are at a different time. You know, we haven't been in a time for a while where our country was really fighting physically, hand to hand, so that other people could, so that we could feel, so we would feel okay, where like you don't fall asleep at night as often as I used to as a child. You felt a little bit more, or your parents certainly did, that there were men and women out there protecting your freedoms. And yeah, maybe we all see the flag differently. I see it as a reminder of freedom. And my job is freedom of speech. My job only is, but they don't even have my job in some countries. And I think I think the thing that got me about that teacher's video, I feel like she just made it about her. It didn't have too much of a big point. It was just kind of this cutesy thing. And I could be wrong. But yeah, I wonder that. Like, remember, it felt weird, like it during the campaigning or whatever. It felt weird because you didn't know if you showed the American flag, everybody felt like you were some right-wing nut job. Or not everybody. I mean, I was in LA predominantly at the time. So in LA, if I would have hung an American flag off my balcony, people would have, everybody would have act like you're some right-wing nut job for hanging your country's flag. That's bizarre. But man, great points. It's like, how are we, and what is influencing us? What is making me think, oh, is this flag not good? What is, and we're all so influenceable. So, but really interesting, man. I appreciate you guys sharing your thoughts, and yeah, I thought people have the right to feel whatever they want. And I don't know what that woman's life has been like. Maybe she was brought, people were always, maybe she lived near an Air Force or a barracks or something, and people were mean to her. Maybe she feels like she hasn't gotten certain jobs because other people had different ties into certain communities, or old boyism. Man, I used to feel that way, bro. I hated that shit growing up. We didn't have anything, man, and nobody... and so I would see friends that got different opportunities and stuff like that. Went on vacations and, probably knew where they were going to go to school, or had pictures at their house where their whole family looked like they were having a good time together. And that shit all made me mad because that wasn't I didn't feel like that could be something I felt like that was something that was just reserved for certain people. A country club type audience, or something, country club type people. So yeah, you don't know sometimes also where people are coming from. But there is a business of division out there. And Jordan Peterson said it well when we spoke. He said, what is claiming your awareness? What is claiming your awareness? And the tools that are out there these days, they're so powerful that they'll get you and you don't even know they're getting you. And if that's not the dark arts, man, what is? We have one more call here about Pledge of Allegiance, maybe. Let me see.
Hey, what's up, Theo? It's Drew from Alabama.
What's up, Drew? Thanks for calling, man. Alabama, dude. I got a brother-in-law or something. I don't know. Somebody fucked him. And he was a male cheerleader over there at University of Alabama. And praise God, bro. Amen. Let's go.
I'm listening to the Gingerbread Trap House episode right now, and I got to the part where you're talking about the teacher that was didn't want to put the flag up. And I just wanted to say thank you for saying what you said. You know, thank you for having some balls and saying that what she was doing was disrespectful. Because, you know, a lot of people, they got these big platforms nowadays. They don't want to stand up. They don't want to stand up for the flag. They just want to go with what the mainstream's saying and stuff. But not you, man. I appreciate the hell out of that. Telling it how it is, saying that she's enjoying all these freedoms to say what she wants to say, but not having her students go for the American flag. It just meant a lot to me to hear you say that.
Well, thank you, man. I appreciate you sharing that with me, and I don't know if I don't know if I'm necessarily right about it. I appreciate your support, you know, but it is true that if people have the freedom of different thought, it's the same thing that this country was founded on. People left Britain because Patty Pemberton was over there beating everybody off the docks. That dude was whooping people's ass, bro. Dude, if you got COVID-19, go. Dude, I bet if you roll up right in front of Patty Pemberton, dude, he'll pump it right. He'll punch it right out of your damn solar system. Dude, that dude's curing COVID, bro, with them COVID cures, dog. He put him on he popped that other guy up. Aladdin or whatever the name was. Jerry Aladdin? I don't know. Whoever he beat, bro, but damn. Yeah, Patty Pimblett, sorry. But Patty Pimblett, dude. That dude's out there. Damn, baby. He's that freelance chiropractor, son. You know what I'm saying? He'll get your chakras all tightened up, boy. But that's that Patty Pimble recipe, son. Pop. Pop. But damn, what was I saying? But no, look, I think everybody has the freedom to think and feel how they want, and that's how this country even got started. People didn't like the feeling, or they didn't feel free. So I do think that we're seeing an evolution of that. And what will our flag look like in 40 years? You know, what will it look like? And maybe sometimes I think that things need to evolve over time. You know, I don't look at the flag and think it stands for like white people, or that it stands for, I never felt like it stood for rich people. I always felt like it stood for us, I felt like. But if you're a Native American and you look at that flag, you know, or you see your grandfather look at it, or if you see your grandfather that was forced maybe even to serve in a military, not by his own choice, but because, you know, it was maybe the land had been taken and it was, but then maybe he was in the military and he met his wife and he created his family, whom he loves. So now he's sitting there and looking at the history, but at the same time looking at the future of his lineage. You know, and I'm grateful that guy has the freedom to feel all and think of all those things in an open space. So yeah, I have to remember that it's not just whatever has been going on for me. And I'm not calling you out or anything, brother. I'm thankful for your call, Drew. I really am. And yeah, I don't know. I used to like it because I felt like it made us all feel together. I remember looking at my other friends, and they did a Pledge of Allegiance at the Padres game the other day. And it was, that place is diverse as hell, dude. You can't even get out of there, bro, without getting a neck tattoo, I feel like. I don't think they let you back in your car without a neck tat. And everybody in there was standing up and supporting the flag. And it just felt nice. It felt like some tradition. And maybe that's just what I like. I like tradition because it makes me feel okay. It makes me feel comfortable. All right, let's see if we got one more call that came in here. Here we go.
Hey, Theo. This is Ryan calling from Baltimore, Maryland. I was listening to you.
Thank you for calling, Ryan. And I appreciate you listening, man. Baltimore. That's Black Maine, Daddy. That's Black Maine, baby. Onward.
Your latest podcast where you were talking about the lady who lost her American flag and told her kids that she was okay with them not reciting the pledge or standing for it. I love your show, man, but don't get me wrong, but I gotta disagree with you here. You asked, you're like, well, what has she done for freedom? Or like, she's selfish. Or like, what is she doing? Like it seems like it's all about her. Well, I would argue that a country where you could go to jail for not reciting an oath doesn't sound very free to me. I think that the freedom that we're so proud of sometimes involves allowing people to say or do things that others might find disrespectful. But really, I think that kind of freedom is something we all need because we all need to be able to express ourselves and maybe disrespect some people if it's something we need to say. And I think that truly does help us all. There's a lot to be proud of, definitely, in this country, but I think there's also stuff that we shouldn't be proud of. And I think that kids should be allowed to make those decisions for themselves.
I appreciate your call, man. Yeah, I agree with you, man. I agree that kids should be allowed to make those decisions for themselves. I agree with that. Yeah, if somebody didn't say the oath and they go to jail, that would seem wrong, man. You know. And we don't have that here, fortunately. And look, I think you're right. It's like you have people who don't want to take the vaccine or don't want to feel mandated to take the vaccine. And that freedom. You know, so yeah, it's really interesting to try and look at where. It's interesting sometimes when I look at myself and I say, well, where do I want freedom? But then where do I want to be like, oh, well, I want more freedom over here, but I want people to say the pledge, but I want people to also, but I don't want to, man, I'm trying to think of what I'm trying to say right. I just find it interesting, yeah, because sometimes I'll notice in my own head, where am I being hypocritical? Or I want freedom for what I think. So, yeah, it's tough, man. It's tough to, and part of that is part of being a group and being in a place where you can be free to do these types of things. I admired my teacher when I look back on my life because she took some kids who were just kids. You're just trying to jerk off when you get home. You know what I'm saying? We were 13, bro. Dude, I was saluting my wiener. I was downstairs, bro, every afternoon. But she got upset if we didn't support the flag in her class. You know, she got upset. And yeah, I just felt like this teacher was just making it about herself. I didn't really like her. It just felt like there's a lot of teachers that are still trying to be kids a lot of times. And I think that's just one of the side effects, too, of social media. Everybody's just trying to make a damn TikTok dance. You know, nobody's really working anymore. We're all just screwing around making TikTok dances. But yeah, it's a great point, Ryan, man. Where do I want freedoms, but where do I want, how do I want to bend the freedom, how do I want to make that freedom worm kind of like, not a freedom worm, but how do I want that, where do I want to put the lines for freedom and make it okay here, but a little more open here? And it is interesting, man. But yeah, I think I also missed the days when a teacher had a little bit more of authority. And that was the rule, man. I got spanked by my principal. And I saw him a couple months ago at a funeral. Not his funeral, obviously, bro. Impossible. And I thanked him, dude. And he told me he enjoyed it. And I thought, damn, this dude could be a damn pedophile, but he isn't. He's just a regular man that used to beat children, bro, and I needed it. So, speaking of beating children, dude, Patty Pimble beat that dude the other day. Dude, Patty Pimble looks like somebody who got molested and then beat the hell out of every molester ever. He looks like Charles Dickens, like fucking rogue ass grandson who's here to settle the score. That dude is upstairs. We had some other calls, man, but this is a long first episode, and we have a sit-in producer that's helping out today, Zach, so I don't want to put too much on his plate. But yeah, man, a lot of this, you know, and I'm just grateful we can be here and have a conversation, and I'm grateful for you guys calling and being a part of my life and just caring enough, man. You know, it's a unique world, and this is it. This is our life. And I'm just glad that we're all coming to the surface of the water and at least just keep taking hits off the air, bro. You know, we stay busy, we stay active. And you guys mean a lot to me, man. I never tell you guys, I don't think, how much y'all mean to me. You know, I never tell you how much you mean to me. And you know, I went for a run earlier. I wasn't feeling super good because you know who I am, bro. And so I didn't want my feelings to dictate how my day was going to go. So I said, well, if I go for a run physically, my feelings have to come with me. So I put them matches on my back and I went for a run. And then while I'm out running, man, I run into a guy who's listening to my podcast, man. And he said, hey, and next thing you know, I didn't want to run that much. Neither did he. I think he was almost done. He said he'd been drinking the night before. And we went for a run, bro. This kid, Drew, I think his name. I can't remember exactly. But, well, let me look. I don't want to be too lazy not to look because I know he's a nice kid, man. Young fella. Andy is his name, so not Drew. Drew was the fella that had just called in from Alabama, man. But Andy, and, you know, I just ran to him. Next thing you know, we went for 2 miles, man, and he shared some story in his life. You know, he said his sister just had a baby, the first nephew in his family, and you know, he just talked about some things. He was making some choices, some changes in his life with moving around, and it was just nice, man. It was just nice, and I'm so blessed to run into people a lot that are cool, that are good people, you know, and that's a gift that you guys give me a lot. And so I just want to say thank you. I feel like sometimes I don't really say that, you know, I've had moments in my life where I could never get as alone as I wanted to get. You know, I could never get as alone as I felt sometimes. Like I would isolate and be by myself, and sometimes I could never get as alone. I mean, though, you could put me in 40 coffins, bro. Like one of those little Russian coffins where you keep opening it and the thing gets little and little and little, and it's a woman. It's like the Mastre Shaika dolls. My mom used to have some of them. And like, but sometimes I could never get as alone as I wanted to get, or as alone as I felt. I could never physically get as alone as I felt. And I'm not whining or complaining. I'm just sharing how I'm feeling, bro, or how I have felt. And that's just a trick, man. You know. The purpose for being here is some type of connection. It really is. And man, as much as it's funny how God gifts, because every time I think I want to be alone, he says, hey, put somebody else in your life. Boom. Even just a person you run, and it's a person you talk to, a person you a moment. And not just me, but you, anybody, you see somebody maybe hugs their child, or the other night a father and son came out to the comedy show, you know? And man, that just made me feel, you know, I never got to do anything like that with my dad. You know, I didn't really know, by the time I knew him, he was disappearing, you know? But I get to know I have a moment with my dad when I see that. When I see a father and son, they're at the show, and they, you know, I think it was the dad's birthday, and the kid had brought him out. And it was nice. And I got a picture too, I remember I took with him. I'll make sure to put it in the video on YouTube's. But I get to live little moments that I don't have, and we all get to. And those are the gifts, man. I think we get them through each other. And I get them so often through you guys. And I am grateful, bro. So, I went to Jocko's, dude. And bro, Jocko, dude, he does his podcast out of like a damn, well, first, I don't forget, he does it like it's like a bunker. There's a gym. There's a wrestling gym. There's people, there's like a birthing area I thought I saw. There's a baby with a rattle, with like a 30-pound rattle, kettlebelling it on its back. I mean, the baby's been alive for maybe 40 minutes. Like, they're doing some top-notch, bottom-notch stuff over there, okay? They're doing some bottom-notch stuff over there. Yeah, they're putting weighted blankets on infants, just a lot of, you know, senior citizens. They're throwing a bunch of weighted blankets on them and, you know, tickling them and making them crawl and all. There's a lot going on, you know, I mean, you get free barbed wire tattoos in the bathroom. There's a lot going on over there at Jocko's gym. I mean, there's some guy got put into some type of somebody hard scarfed him, put him into some kind of a hold, and damn fucking switched his gender on him. The dude got up and had tits and put panties on and left, dude. I mean, there's just, somebody put somebody in a damn gender bender, bro. They're doing all types of moves over there. So Jocko's doing some top-notch, bottom-notch stuff over there. But it was awesome, man. And it was what I needed, you know. And I kind of didn't, sometimes I don't like going on podcasts because I haven't felt that good. Even for the past 2 years, man. Something is physically going on with me. I don't know what it is. And I've tried everything to get it away. It just won't stop. There's something that's, you know, some condition. I don't know what it is. But it makes me not feel good. And then I don't want to podcast when I'm not feeling good. Because it puts me, you literally have to be so present. You have to be you. And when you don't feel like yourself, you don't want to share yourself because it's not the real you you're sharing. It's like, I don't know. You know, it's hard to put yourself out there when you're feeling like about 50, 60% of yourself. And I'm not complaining. I don't need any self-pity. You know, I do things to take care of myself in the meantime until I can feel better. You know, I've done everything. A lot of I don't know if it's mental health. I don't know if but it feels physical. It doesn't just feel, it feels like this extreme fatigue that happens a couple times a day where I have to lay down. And I haven't wanted to share that because I'm not trying to be no damn, you know, one of Patty Pimble's victims, bro. I'm trying to just, you know, I don't need any of that. You know, everybody has stuff. But yeah, I got to go in there with Jocko. Dude, I'm going to put this picture up now. You'll have to see it. I'll try to put it on my Instagram too. So they have all kind of weaponry in there and a couple freaking nades on the table and all kind of shit. Bullets and damn bone. They had a human damn half a Cossacks on the table. They got a lot of different bones on there. Somebody's appendix in a bag. They had a bag of dried appendix. Jocko's over there putting it in his mouth like Big League Chew. There's a lot going on in the building. And just, you know, he's sitting over there just fucking chewing on half a cheek full of human appendix. Sorry, but that's such a good that's a funny thing to think about. But anyway, I remember I left and he sent me a picture later in the day. He goes, "Hey man, I looked down at my table and I saw a couple weapons on it." which one do you think you left here? And I'm not going to tell you. I'll post it right now so you can look and get the joy for yourself. I won't tell you what it was. Oh, wait, but if you're on audio, you won't know, huh? It's a comb. One of them's just like a woman's, one of them is a woman's hair comb next to like 3 crazy machetes and knives. And I was wondering where my comb had went, bro. It's not like a woman's comb. It's kind of like a black dude would have that comb, but not the pick comb, just a regular comb. So I liked it, man. It's a nice comb. I thought, I'm bummed I left it there, but it was just so funny he sent that. But I got to go over there and spend time. And this is one thing that I'm grateful to our military for. I'm grateful that we live in a country where I can sit here and complain a lot of times. I get whiny sometimes. I do get some self-pity going on where I can complain about how I'm feeling. I can talk about it. When our fathers, our mothers, there wasn't time to do that. They didn't have that opportunity. And so that is a huge freedom. Because some of us, if we didn't have it, people could take their lives. People couldn't handle, but they're able to, we live in a real comfortable place. We're so comfortable, I could sit back with some damn Cheetos or something. I could sit back eating one of those red, white, and blue bomb pops, complaining about how I feel. And it's okay, but that's a gift, And it's also a reality, time has changed. Things are evolving. We're not, we're in different spaces. But certainly I'm also at an age, like I'm not like, a 14-year-old kid who's never known anybody that really fought in any wars or had to, lost something or lost loved ones or, if you just are on social media and you're like one of those social media activists or whatever, then yeah, it's easy to sit and just share stuff and just, tweet and blast and talk shit. But they didn't have that when I was young. They didn't have all this extra information. And they say knowledge is power. Knowledge, I think, is. But just random bullshit information that we don't even know is true half the time. That's not power, man. And that's a lot of what's being created and manipulated a lot of times. And then it's really taken away a lot of our power from ourselves. It's weird. Like cigarettes and stuff will get bans, but social media won't. I don't see how we look back in 20 years and think that it was any good, but I don't know if it's such a big business that business really wins. It's all become such a business, man. It's scary. But that's okay, man. We got each other. We were at the Padres game. We ate 3 hot dogs and went for a run. At the Veterans Administration today, you got dudes out there carrying their legs in a freaking picnic basket out there, dude. They got some wild cats. So, lots to be grateful for, including you guys. It's September. Football's starting back. There's a lot going on. Yeah, I just want to say thanks, man. We're doing it. We keep going. That's the number one thing we have to do is stay alive. That's the most important thing. That's the most important thing. We can figure the rest of it out, and we'll try to do it together. It's wild. There's also so many more people in the world now, so you can have so many more ideas, and there's so many more, it's a business to make us disagree. And it's the dark arts, man. I wonder what fuels how I feel a lot of times. Sometimes I'll ask myself, well, why do you feel this way about this? And I can't tell. Sometimes I can't tell if I just was influenced by something or if it's sometimes I can tell if it's a real feeling I have, but I don't always know where my influences came from. And were those pure, And one thing about getting older, I'll find that I feel like my influences from when I was younger are purer than influences that could just be happening to people younger now. And then I start to see, oh, well, this is why grandparents and their kids and there's always these differences of, things evolve and change. But we stay alive and we just try to keep seeing it, And I don't know what I'm trying to say. I never really been good at goodbyes, man. But gang, man, you guys be good to yourselves. Y'all deserve it. I'm going to go out with this band, one of the greatest bands that was ever put together, that didn't stay together because, well, differences, addiction, I don't know. I'm not, and I don't feel like I'm talking out of shop on these boys. I mean, I love that, but, and maybe they will, they still try. I think in their hearts, they just had a new album that came out, but it's interesting, man, that even something as beautiful as music, it stops getting created when you're not together, when you're not on the same page. So, and we don't have to be on the same page, but even if we can at least stay in the same book, man, we could probably keep the tunes going. This Sharp.
I ain't seen home in about 100 days. I can almost hear mama praying for my restless soul.
Man. That's Making It by Bishop Gunn. And that's what we do. We just keep making it, baby. Drew Smithers, Ben Lewis, Travis McCready, and Burns Sharp, man, whose dad gave me a job on his farm when I was fresh out of college, and when I was in college, and he died of overdose. And you know, here I am, 20 years later, getting to enjoy music made by his son, man, and his son and I are still really, really close, and. Man, we just got to stay alive so we could just be a part of the little bit of music I think that God has in store for us. I really believe that, man. So I'm going to do my best, man. That's all we can do, baby. Gang, be good to yourselves. You deserve it. All right. It's that time, baby. It's that time, baby. It's May. May I listen to a little something for the G's, and May. It's May. May is interesting, isn't it? Because May, you know, it's really, that's when the calendar kind of starts asking you a question. May I do this? May I bring the summer? May I just reel in a big batch of sunshine? May I make you sweat? May. It's interesting, huh? May. You know, what's that old joke? They say, what do a gay cow say? May. Or something like that, man. Today's episode is brought to you by Gray Block Pizza, 1811 Pico Boulevard, on the way to the beach in Los Angeles. Gray Block. Get that hitter. Man, I just got back from the outdoors. I was out there in southern Utah, or So Ute. Being out there and seeing a lot of different animals. They got small animals and they got large animals. They got alcoholics. Also, they got it all. And did a little camping, did a little kayaking, not cocaine, and got into it. It was like Mother Nature just left her damn zipper down and I got straight up in there. You feel me? It was like Mother Nature just, I just really got up in it, in that Mother Nature. And you get out there in southern Utah, or So Ute, that's what people call it, but you get out there, they got a lot of people, you know, you got some people, they got a little bit of a whistle in their talk, when they're talking. How you doing? Hey, you doing? Whistling, you know, they got people really just salt to the earth kind of. You'll lick a dude's arm and it'll really taste like salt. Just that kind of people, you know. They'll have a man, he'll have a treat in his pocket for an animal. And that's natural. You'll see him just break that bastard out. And break out of an organic Tootsie Roll or something, or a homemade chocolate for a little badger or for a mountain cat or something. It's that kind of space. It's beautiful. If you've never been, I just got back. And I'm happy to be here, and I'm happy to be here with you guys. Let's get into it. It's on a fucking lick that's on the front line. Don't get drunk outdoors. Money, get that, get a little bit. You got money, get that. And it is 2020, 2020. And it is the time, it is it. And yeah, I'm feeling, whoo, I'm feeling, I got that gumption in my junction, bro. I'm feeling that lift in my gift, And I get that when I go out in nature, I get that recharge. I get nature just puts a damn, like a hose of just nature sauce right into my veins. And I just feel like I start feeling a little more just part of the earth. I feel more like I could if I see a rabbit, and I wouldn't be scared or anything, even if he was violent. And even if he had a little knife on him, or even if he had a little cut of, a little sack of cocaine or something on his little ass. I would be more, you're just more in touch with nature. A bird will shit on you and you'll smile a little. You'll still be pissed, but you can giggle first. You're like, all right. Now I'm pissed, but all right. Good to be here. We're late. The podcast is late. We're late. Did you know?
Hey, Theo. This is Antonia. My husband, Caleb, and I were a little worried about you because your podcast didn't come on, and we always listen to it in the morning at any random time. I'm a registered nurse and been working a lot with the COVID patients.
Well, thank you for working up there as an RN, and I'm sorry that it's late, but aren't you glad that that at least it is going to be late? Thank you guys for thinking about me. Thanks for calling and checking. I appreciate it. Somebody else knew it was late.
Theo, Stovepipe, how you doing? Hey, I was looking for your podcast. It's not up yet, man. I'm not bagging on you. Just looking out for you. Hope you're well. And chitty gang.
And I'm sorry that it's late. I was out there and I was just enjoying. I went, I got in a dual person and single person kayak. I met a man. I was jogging, and I met a man over there at from a group called Guru Zion, because that's where I went camping and stuff. Was out near, out east of St. George, Utah, and that's southern Utah, and it's really, they got a lot of rock out there, mystery rock. You'll see hieroglyphics, petroglyphics. And that's basically this old graffiti. That's Indian graffiti right there. A native just carved something in there into a rock. He might have wrote, Rhonda's got that nasty. And you'll see that carved into a rock from a couple hundred years ago. Oh yeah, little sidestep has that, it'll be a lot of Native American graffiti, like, little sidestep has that pow titty. You'll see, just like graffiti you'd see now, but it's from the past. And you can go on different trails and see it. And they got real weathered looking. A lot of people, they've been standing in the wind out there. because it gets real windy. Oh, if you put your ear up to a damn kite, you'll hear that thing get erect. Because this is wind country. You'll see a sailboat out there just fucking walking around because that's how much it enjoys that breeze out there and out in Soute. And it's, it just said, I got out there, I went and met up with my family, and it was just normal. I went to a restaurant. I went to a restaurant and had orders. I ordered something. Oh, you got something? Yeah, I got it. All right. I'll give you a little money for it. Okay. You want to eat it here? Yeah, I'll eat it here. Hell, I'll pay you $4 extra. Watch me eat it. How is that not an option at a restaurant? For a few extra dollars, they watch you eat it. Here's $6 extra. Won't you watch me ingest this won't you coach me on my eating? Okay, you chewing too hard on the right side, Won't you chew a little more on the starboard side? Balance your bow. There you go. All right, swallow. It'd just be nice if they had, that could be an upsell option at a restaurant or eatery. If you're at a sweet local eatery and somebody says, okay, they buy that $19 steak, they buy that high dollar meat cut. And then you offer that upsell. All right, for $5 extra, I'll watch you eat it. PTL, baby, praise the Lord. People would be enjoying. They would be buying that extra experience, just to have that edible chaperone right there, that little chew daddy, that little swallow jockey right there, watching you ride just watching you experience your food. Restaurants are going to start having to do that kind of stuff because of COVID. They're going to have to make that extra dollar. How do we pull in that extra side buck? Okay, here's what we're going to offer: a unique experience. Maybe I'll watch you eat for $7. I'll sit here, and my little chubby cousin will watch you eat. Big DeAndre or whatever, or Big Keisha or whatever, little Carrie. Something like that. For $9, I'll fucking tickle you while you eat. You telling me you wouldn't think about that upgrade option? I'm just telling you, we're going to have to start thinking outside of the box. You guys had some calls on how things would change with COVID and what we could be looking at in the future. And I want to thank the audio on the way in. That was the North Mississippi All-Stars with their song Drunk Outdoors. And we'll put the link in the YouTube where you can purchase that. And also, subscribe. If you feel it. I don't like to ask for things. Or maybe I do. Hell, I don't know if I do or don't. But if you would like to be a subscriber of something, this is something. And would love for you to subscribe to the channel. I hope everybody's doing well. I want to get into some things. You guys had some interesting concepts about how life would change in the new post-COVID. And here's a couple of thoughts that you guys had. Here was a call, gang.
Hey, bro, this Chief calling from Texas.
What's up, Chief? What up, Chief, boy? And this fella probably huffing on that bag. You don't get the name Chief these days. Chief used to be a Native American superior term. If you're a captain of the Native Americans. If you basically the Chris Prattajawea. If you's a real, if you that top dog in the feather in that feather club, then you would get that name Chief. But more recently, Chief is more of little Gary does a lot of chief in that hay, sucking on that gas, bro, puffing that goo, that herb, baby, that weed. huffing that nasty, nasty. You know, he huffing that fuck, you know, Mr. McGregor's gunpowder, dog. I'm talking about marijuana. I'm talking about that puff, puff, pow. I'm talking about that poo, 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 to your brain, that dope weed. Onward.
I was watching the podcast of the fucking ladies' night one, whatever the fuck that was.
Yeah, it was ladies' night, brother. Onward.
Watching that shit just now, you said, what do you think is going to go away in the near future? Talking about people getting their temps taken and shit like that.
Right, we were talking about people last episode. We were talking about people getting their temperatures taken when you go to an event. You know, you go somewhere, and now in the future, they might, you know, take your temperature, check you for snot. They might, you know, touch your kid's little ass or something, see if it's hot. See if you bring it in a little Timothy or whatever with that hot ass, because you can't do it. You can't do that. You're not going to be able to do that as well. You bring in that up temperature, Timothy, it's not going to go over well with others. Let's hear more, brother. Thank you for the call.
What's going to go away, I think, you know, you're not from Texas like I am, you know, but they probably had 10 or 15 Mexican restaurants in Louisiana. What's going to go away, though, is chips and queso and chips and salsa, son. That shit is done, homie. That's not going to be on the menu no more, son, unless you get it individually. It's not an appetizer no more. You know what I'm saying? Because what's everybody doing? They're getting the chips, bringing chips to the dip, putting it straight in their mouth, going back to the chips, going back to the dip, putting it back straight in their mouth.
Damn.
You know,
lean with it, rock with it, huh?
You know, you can't sanitize every time you touch a chip. You know what I mean? Them chips are just going to be too salty after a while. So yeah, R.I.P. to queso and salsa, gang, gang.
Gang, bro. Man, wow, I hadn't thought about that. Yeah. Yeah, you're going to have to, each person will have to bring a couple of their own chips from home, I guess. And, you know, or, yeah, I don't know what they're going to do. But yeah, you can't have that group. You can't have that swimming pool in the middle of the table. You can't have that little cheese fucking strip mall in the middle of the table and everybody's just scooping in, getting this, picking up a pair of Adidas or picking up a pair of, Motorola or something, or get some speakers or some fucking Chinese food. That Chang chop, you know? Yeah, they're not going to have that group, they're not going to have that little, where everybody's just, hands are in there, just that little bang, bang, bang up there with the chips. That's going to be interesting, man. Yeah, that could be one thing that could go away. Now you got to bring a couple chips from home or something. You got to write, your name on the chip. Darren. Lil Ricky. And Lil Ricky got 4 chips. And Darren got 9 chips. Darren's big ass got 9 chips. And Hector over there, and he got, chips running his family, so he got 40 chips. Come on, Hector. No, you got 40 chips, bro? Shoot the 9-pointer, papa. But yeah, it's gonna be everybody. Yeah, you're not gonna be able to have that meet up in the middle of the table. That could be something that could change. Here's another thing. Let's go. How things could change.
Theo Vaughn, this is Pete from Central Pennsylvania.
What's up, Pete? And that's out of Central PA. And yeah, Central Pennsylvania, if you want to see the Amish. And the Amish are basically like, they're kind of like, it's like Halloween, but it's kind of like the most boringest Halloween you ever been to, bro. And you got to work the whole time, dog. Anyway, they have a lot of Amish in Central PA. Gang shit, brother. Onward.
I live about an hour south of that Shamokin there where they burnt down the Dunkin' Donuts.
Oh, yeah. Up there in Shamokin where they burned down the Dunkin' Donuts. Dunkin' Donuts. Oh, yeah, we used to meet up at the Dunkin' Donuts. Yeah, I had me ahead of my parole officer. Sometimes we'd meet up over by the Dunkin' Donuts, bro. You know, I used to, use the can in there, maybe wash out my pants in there, bro. Gang. All right.
You know what I'm talking about. So I just wanted to call and comment about the change to the handshake you brought up on last week's podcast. Man, I came up with something the other day. I think it might catch on. I think I like to call it the ET greeting, where maybe you just outstretch that arm, stick that finger out, and just barely touch the tip. That way, you get a little greeting, but you can also maintain that social distance.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it also might change the meaning of giving somebody the finger. So that's what I got, man. Love you. Love the podcast. Keep doing your thing.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate this message. And that's could the handshake, we talked about that last week, could the handshake change? And what you would do? Because it does seem like a lot to give all 10 fingers out to somebody in a shake. So maybe you do that one finger, just that little, that ET, just that little touch me tender. And you would know if the other person's real wasted or not, because you have to touch their finger, you have to line fingers up. So if their finger, they can't even hit yours, then you'd be like, oh, this guy's all jacked up on something. Dude, and look, bro, I didn't know. I remember one time a buddy of mine, and he's a young homosexual fella, actually, and he's certified. He'll tell you he is. And he's been with men, and he knows he's, I'm not telling you, I'm not tattling on anybody's wiener. This guy's certified, prefers homoeroticism. And I remember the day he told me that he was, he really loved men like that, like a specialty. And that he really liked to hug men and just, like he liked to sometimes put his hands up in another man's shirt while the man still had the shirt on and things like that. And he said, I remember when he told me, I didn't know what to do, dude. He told me. And I didn't know what to do. This is probably about maybe 11 years ago. And I remember just taking one of my fingers, bro, I'm not even joking, and just put it into his mouth. Off of 23rd Street over there in Santa Monica by the park. And I don't even know why. And he laughed, and I kind of laughed afterwards, but I just didn't know I don't like certain interactions. You know how to behave during it. Someone falls down a stair, or someone falls off the back of the back of a building, of a one-story, of a ranch-style home. You know what to do. You run over, you help them. You put your hand, hey, you put both arms on them. Are you okay? What's up? Somebody walks up to you, says hello. You know how to do it. You shake their hand. You put your hand out, they put their hand out. That's a shake. That's a meeting of hands. Each person brings one hand to the meeting. But they don't tell you what to do if somebody comes out of the closet. They don't give you, how do you behave? How do you gesticulate that? What do you do with your arms when somebody comes out of the closet? And I just didn't know what to do. I just remember taking one of my fingers and just put it right into his mouth, dude. And it was a natural reaction. It wasn't a choice I made. It was a non-choice that I did. But that's something that could change. People do something. What else? Now what do? Maybe you take somebody's temperature and slap them. Maybe you start smelling them. You smell the back of their pants like a baby. I don't know what it's. Anything could be, things are going to change. Another call came in. Things are going to change. Possibly.
Hey, Theo. What up, baby? Gang, gang. This is Ryan from Worcester, Mass.
What up, Ryan? What the F, baby? What's up?
I had a comment on what you were saying last week's episode about some stuff that we might start seeing.
Oh, yeah, brother. And you sound fired up, buddy boy. You been having Red Bull or something? Onward?
It's kind of the new normal with all this going on. And one of the things I remember hearing on on some news radio I was listening to the other day. At outdoor concerts and festivals, things like that, they're starting to experiment with, like, they want to fly these drones over the top of the concert, and these drones are going to have, like, infrared sensors that can tell if someone's hot. They can see if someone's running hotter than the rest of the concert goers. So they're going to fly these drones above, they're going to pick people out, and then whatever the security there is going to go walk up to them and be like, hey, we got to pull you outside, take your temperature or whatever, something like that.
Wow. Yeah, I could see it. You out there enjoying a little Willie Nelson, you know? Or a little, Megan Thee Stallion or something. Or Big Meg or whatever. You know, you out there enjoying a little bit of Skinny Adele. And next thing you know, they release a batch of hot hunters. They got temperature drones, just a bunch of damn freaking Fahrenheit Falcons just nippling at you. And you got one buddy, he's hot, bruh. He's hot, but he still wants to party. He's on a couple hits of acid, you know? And he's deep. You know, and he's listening to he's at one concert, but he's listening to another concert on headphones. You know? He's at Widespread Panic, but he's listening to Michael Jackson on his ear pods, and he's on 2 hits of acid. And he's running high on temperature, on body temp. And he's saying, hey, guys, hide me, cover me. Because he don't want one of them electronic temperature birds coming and getting him. And then the bouncers come over. The heat bouncers. Hey. What's up, man? Are you hot, bro? It used to be you got to be hot to get in the club. Now, if you're hot, you got to get out the club. It's full circle. Hey, we need some ice cold bitches, man. Dude, only cold bitches. I'm talking about real, legitimate bitches. From Norway, Nordic, Greenland, Iceland. Let me get that Antarctica girl. Bring her to the club. Oh, she only 88 degrees, man. She could stay in. Hell, she could be an investor. She could be a silent investor. It's going to be cold people only at the club. People going to be wearing ice around their neck. Real ice. Diamonds ain't shit, bro. I need 14 degree gold. Do you have that? That's what I need. Because it's going to change. Everything's going to change. Is it, though? I mean, look, do I really think it is? I really do not. I really do not. I really think that we've taken a good measure of trying to battle this virus. I think we've taken a really good measure. I also think it's time to get things back going. And there's some people like, life will never be the same. You know, some people are like, man, you will never. Children will be born in incubator. You won't even see your child till he's 7. You'll never go on a date. You're crazy. You'll never wash your own ass, boy. You will never wash your own ass, boy. You little freak. You little bitch. But that's not true. I think things are going to go back very normal. I really do. I really, really do. Here's another call that came in. You guys had so many great ideas, man. As always, the hotline is 985-664-9503. You guys had so many interesting things that could happen. You know, that could happen. Onward.
Yo, Theo, my name's Chris Jones. I'm from Des Moines. I just had a
What's up, Chris Jones? And I used to know a fella named Toby Jones. Or actually, Chris Jones was his name, and they call him Toby. And he was real, real white. And his eyes was always open pretty wide. You know, he kind of had those eyes where, you know, he would tell you he was going to sleep, but you didn't believe him. You were like, no way. And he was a young fella that lived by me growing up. And he was kind of tough. He was a rapscallion, and he wore kind of large shirts that were collared, and just a damn large shirt. And sometimes his shirt was so big, he'd go inside. He'd be like, look, man, I'll be right back. And he would just go inside of his shirt. What? Where is he? And he'd come back out and have a licorice or have a Jolly Rancher. Like, damn, that shirt's come with a damn kitchenette. But they called him Toby, and he was a good friend when I was young, and he was a good kid, and I enjoyed I enjoyed living in the same neighborhood as that boy, kind of. Onward?
Comment, just kind of an experience with this whole coronavirus thing that I don't think anyone's called in with yet, or at least I haven't heard it. So my uncle passed away a couple weeks ago.
Oh, damn, man. Sorry to hear that, brother. And R.I.P. to his beautiful ass, brother. And I'm sure he was a good man, brother. And, it's an interesting journey, life, because you can die. That's the real caveat. Onward.
All good. I'm not been out of shape about it really too much or anything. He was a good dude. He had stage 4 colon cancer, and he fought it for 2.5 years.
Oh, man. I cannot even fathom, brother, fighting something that is, in your own ass. That is, that's like a level, that's like a Zelda, or that we'll never know about. I mean, that is the ultimate Mortal Kombat, really, is fighting a curious disease that is inside of your own ass, body ass. You know what I'm talking about, butt. And I'm sorry to hear that, brother. Yeah, my father passed away of colon cancer too, and it's crazy to think that something could be in your ass that doesn't like you, or that doesn't want you to be alive. Onward.
My family was mainly grateful for that, and so he lives in Kansas City. In Kansas City, they're still shut down. They couldn't have more than, however many people in the building for the funeral. And he has 5 kids and his wife, and then the pastor and the videographer and all that, because they were putting the funeral on YouTube. So long story short, my dad didn't even get to go to the funeral. None of us were able to go to the funeral. His kids were able to, and his wife was able to, and everything. We just watched his funeral on YouTube just a couple hours ago.
Wow. So they YouTubing death. The Grim Reaper is upgrading his technology. That's what it's come to, people. The Grim Reaper is upgrading his technology. Okay? This man have to be somewhere watching his uncle die on a damn YouTube. Onward.
And it was just kind of a trip. It was just really weird, and I'm like, the emotion wasn't really there watching this funeral on YouTube, and even for my dad, it just wasn't quite the same. He even said something about it, just, the human brain maybe processing that kind of emotion differently. I don't know, man. Just kind of weird.
I'm very sorry to hear about the passing in your family, and I'm really sorry for your dad. I got to see my brother this weekend out there in Soute, and it's a special gift to have a brother, and man, I bet that was really tough for him. But Jeepers, friend, when you hear this and how are you going to be on you? What if in the middle of the thing, you get an email reminder or a notification of a damn TikTok or something, and they're right there, Johnny was a good man and he survived today by, and then it's like, ding. What if somebody comments on the thing? Gang, gang, first. What if somebody writes that on the freaking funeral? It just, that's just the crazy, somebody writes first on your uncle's funeral. Or somebody writes like, oh, I thought this was magic and I thought they were going to cut the thing in half or something. It just, it all could get wild. It all could get wild. Those are some great suggestions, man. Some great thoughts about what could happen. What could the world be like? I was I was in Springdale. I was in Rockville, and I had a nice time. Got to go fishing, and I caught an endangered animal fish. I caught an endangered animal fish, and that little bastard, he looked rare. Right when I saw him, I said, damn, he looks... some fish look like they live in the lake that they're in. Some fish look like they just passing through, like they're from like a different place. Like, oh, okay. And he had that vibe. Oh, this little fella's an out-of-towner. He ain't a local boy. He seemed like he had read a few books, like he had a different vibe in him. And it was a chub. It's called a North Chub Endangered Utah. And this fish, the Utah chub, and the river I was in was called the Virgin River, and it's a special river, the Virgin River, Utah. Let me tell you about it. I want to tell you one interesting fact about this waterway. The Virgin River chub, federally listed endangered species, 18-incher. Rare and beautiful, it says here. This fish is the top native predator in the Virgin River. And I could have sensed that a little. It was daytime when I caught it, but I could see it getting into some shit at night. It had that look about him. The Virgin River chub feeds on small fish insects, and they like deep pools with boulders and debris. And I caught one of those bastards, boy. And I caught him on liver. I fish on chicken liver, and I fish on worm, American worm. And yeah, I caught him, man. So that was nice. We caught a couple bullheads, and my brother caught a snapping turtle, a big thing. And we put everything back. We put everything back. I want to let you know that today's episode is brought to you by Raycon. Raycon. And we like to have things personalized for us these days. Some people that you like to, if I'm playing a game of a video game or something, I like to be by myself. I don't like to play in a group. I feel extra pressure or brain pressure or body pressure. But Raycon, they offer a personalized experience. Whether you're working from home or working on your fitness, you want what you're listening to be what you are listening to. Some people, if you're catching a funeral you missed, you can catch it right there. You can catch it and hear it as good as possible. And that's how Raycon helps you. Everyone needs a great pair of wireless earbuds. But before you go dropping hundreds of dollars on a pair, you need to check out the wireless earbuds from Raycon. You already know Raycon earbuds start at about half of the price of any other wireless bud on the market. And you got to think, some of these brands out there, earbuds aren't even their specialty. But people buy those. But Raycon, they specialize in sound. Their newest model, the Everyday E25 earbuds, are their best ones yet. With 6 hours of playtime, seamless Bluetooth pairing, more bass. If you want that boom, boom, boom in your head, if you're listening to a crime podcast and you want to feel that fella sneaking up the back stairs with the tire iron. You want to feel that intensity. They have a more compact design that gives you a nice noise-isolating fit. Raycon's wireless earbuds are so comfortable, they're perfect for conference calls if you do group calls or binging podcasts. Unlike some other options, Raycon earbuds are both stylish and discreet. There's no wires, no stems hanging out. You're not going to have somebody come up and light the end of your ear pod thinking it's a cigarette. Some people think, oh, your ear's doing a damn Camel Light or Camel Crush. The company was co-founded by Ray J and other celebrities. Now the time to get the latest and greatest from Raycon. Get 15% off your order at buyraycon, BUYRAYCON.com/Theo. That's BUYRAYCON.com/THEO for 15% off Raycon wireless earbuds. Buyraycon.com/Theo. Go check it out and support the pod, please. This past weekend likes to support small businesses, and we want to support Lakeside Maple. Lakeside Maple specializes in trail mix baked with pure maple syrup. Sometimes you'll see a tree and it'll look like it is just so happy and so fun and joyous. And usually that tree has maple syrup in it. Lakeside Maple has 3 flavors: original, spicy, and ginger chai. And my favorite, I believe, is that ginger chai. All of their mixes are made by hand by fans of this podcast. Did you know that? Lakeside Maple listens to This Past Weekend. It's a great snack if you're on the go or in your car, or a snack at work or anything. Hell, you could be in a gangbang and need to carb up a little. Or just add a little bit to your yogurt in the morning also. Get in there and try out the best trail mix that everyone thinks is granola, but it's not. It's trail mix. Also, try the new trail mix butter, a combination of almonds and sunflower seeds baked with pure maple syrup and fresh ground into the butter. Wow. Go to lakesidemaple.com and use code THEO at checkout for 15% off. That's promo code THEO at checkout for 15% off. Lakeside Maple. Get that mix. I'm going to go buy some. I'm going to send it to my mom. And she listens to this now, so now she's going to expect it. Damn. Let's get back to the show. Who is listening? That's who I like to know. Got a couple listeners right here. Let's catch them.
Yo, Bizzle. This is Joe from Philly.
What up, Joe from Philly?
Gang, gang.
Gang, bucko.
Just calling in to say, yo, man, your show is funny as hell, bro. All night while I'm at work doing overnight freight, I have my Bluetooth earphones in.
Gang, brother. And I appreciate you listening. Overnight freight as well, also a nickname for burglary or burglary. And I like the way you terminize it. But, and I don't disrespect it. I don't disrespect criminalism if you're a businessman. If you out there just pocketing a little of this or a little of that. But if you working at a job overnight and doing overnight freight or whatever, I respect that shit, bro. Gang shit. Another gentleman.
Hey, Theo. This is Logan from Alberta, Canada. Just wanted to let you know who you got listening way up here in the Great White North. Like I said, up here in Canada, I'm a blacksmith.
Ooh. And what a dichotomy, a blacksmith in the Great White North. And that's about the most Canadian thing. You know, it's so white there, they got to make a black guy. Isn't that crazy? You got a dude out there chiseling out a black dude in a shed. You know, chiseling together a Darius, or chiseling together a Sharkeesh.
I'm actually a farrier, so what that is I take raw steel and I build horseshoes in a forge and an anvil, old school style, just like the medieval days. Build horseshoes and knives and stuff, and predominantly I build horseshoes and nail them on horses' feet so they can go out and go to work.
Oh, I see what you're talking about. Yeah, man. I mean, if that's what you want to do, then that's what's being done. And I think that's beautiful, to be taking care of a horse's foot. Because the rest of us, we see a horse, we don't think about that. I see a horse, I think I want to put a couple of dollars on this one. Striped Passenger, or whatever his name is. Birdie's Diary. Johnson's Pocket. I'll throw $200 on that thing. Tricky Russell. I'll throw $40 on Tricky Russell to come in third. But you don't think that there's somebody sees a horse and says, you know what, boy? About to throw some shoes on that bitch. And look, I think that's beautiful. I would love to see you guys up the ante, though. I'd love to see you put a little I'd love to see you guys put a Nike on a little wolf. I'd love to see you throw a damn croc on a croc. Now that would be some G shit. I mean, I think it's savage as hell to be hammering a piece of metal into a Clydesdale. But if it helps them, then I think it's beautiful. But I would love to see you put a damn put a little piece of FUBU footwear on a frog. Now that would be crazy. Or throw some Asics on a I'd love to see an Asic on a fox. People are like, damn, that fox is fast as fox. Because he got Asics. Thank you guys, though. Thank you for supporting the podcast. I want to let you know that flowers are blooming, the grass is growing, and it's time to mow your lawn. I want to thank our sponsor, Manscaped, and that's body. They take care of full body action, hair. You can trim the hedges below the belt safely. Excuse me, had a couple almonds. You can trim the hedges below the belt safely and efficiently. I'm talking about your balls, your scrotum, scrot. Manscaped is here to make sure your balls are smooth and smelling nice. Oh, yeah. After all, it's time for some spring cleaning. May I? That's the calendar. May I help you clean your nuts up? Sure, Manscaped. Manscaped is the only men's brand dedicated to below-the-waist grooming. You know it. I know it. They have forever changed the grooming game with the new Perfect Package 3.0 kit. It comes with that lawn mower, which is waterproof. Now you can trim your wick over there in the shower. Make sure your root is all tightened up. I come from an area, Louisiana, and when I was growing up, it was okay to have a little more hair around your root. And if you saw somebody's wiener, you barely saw it because it had so much hair around it. But now everybody's taking their wiener and just making it be fully visual. And Manscaped can help you do that. People want to see your wiener now. It's crazy, but it's true. Inside the Perfect Package, you'll also find the Manscaped Crop Preserver, which provides deodorant and moisturizer for your body and for your balls. For a limited time, subscribers get 2 free gifts when you subscribe to the Perfect Package. You'll get a replacement blade refill for your lawnmower delivered to your door every 3 months. Make sure your trimmer always stays hygienic and clean. The 2 free gifts, you get the Shed travel bag and the patented high-performance Manscaped Boxer Briefs. Nice. Take care of your package. This is the perfect package for your perfect package. Get 20% off and free shipping. Use the code Theo, Theo, at manscaped.com. That's 20% off and free shipping with the code Theo at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com and use code Theo. It's spring cleaning, baby, and your balls will thank you. You know, I remember when I was a child, for one year, I went to a school and it was called Lyon Elementary. And they misspelled it, Lyon. And named after this guy, Donald Lyon. And he was the first man actually in our town that had ever seen, I guess, that had ever seen a Louisiana black bear. And he didn't have one or anything, but he had seen it. And no one else had seen it. And there used to be value back then to seeing something before you could just have a camera or something. You had to see it and tell people. You could maybe draw them a picture or make them a thing out of clay. Oh, here it is. This is what it is, you know. It's a bear. I'm like, well, damn, it looks like a fat goat. Well, I'm not that good of a sculptor, but that doesn't mean I didn't see it. And I went to that school, man. It was a school that was a little closer to where I grew up, and it specialized in special education. And these are a lot of children who are mentally unique, rare. A lot of kids you seem like they want to do magic or something, but they're just children. And they just, sometimes they be in remedial classes. You'll see a kid 4 years in the second grade. But all of them are happy about it, and they loved it, and it was good, man. And I went because it was close to us, and I enjoyed it. And the principal was this man, T-Roy Jackson. And he could whistle. Dude, this guy, God, he could whistle. My God, he could just pass wind through his lips, boy. He could just whistle, man. Imagine something flying out of your lips through a really small hole. Now imagine that thing is beautiful. That's whistling. And he could do it. And he could do it, man. He could whistle from one end of the property to the other. You could hear him at the other end of the property. And which is one of the reasons why he even got the job. And that man he could whistle. And sometimes, sometimes I still think about him. And I think he passed away. He might have died. All right. Let's get into a couple more calls here. Here we go.
Gang, bro, what up?
Yo, Theo. I'm in a conundrum. Onions or Funyuns?
Ooh. That is a toughie, huh? Man, that is a toughie. Because it. An onion is the real deal. An onion comes with all the emotions. It's probably the national vegetable of this past weekend, listeners. This is the kind of podcast, sometimes you got to crack into that onion. An onion it's the one that went to school and it got it's had some tough times and maybe it went through a bad marriage or two. And then Funyuns are just fucking onions that is gooped out. They gooped out on methamphetamines or, they've been smoking, doing cigarettes and doing a little bit of, sneaking a little sip of Fireball, at church or something. That's a tough one, man. Onions or Funyuns. But Funyuns got that fun in them. You know, they go to community college, you know, and they worked at Subway for a couple months before some shit went down and some money went missing. But onions, you know, they grow in a real garden, and they know other vegetables. You know, they might have a carrot in their phone. They might have a way to get in touch with a rhubarb or something in a Rolodex at their house. You know, an onion has a chance to be part of other recipes. An onion, you might see an onion in a salad actually, not salad. You might see an onion in a salad. You know, you might see an onion on the edge of a steak But Funyuns, nobody's ever serving a damn steak in Funyuns. A Funyuns ain't coming on a burger. So I'm staying real with it, man. Real with it, rock with it. I'm going onions. On that one. Thank you for checking in about that as well. We got this call that came in.
Hey, what's up, Theo? This is Brennan calling from Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
Oh, thank you for calling down there in Baton Rouge. You know, spent much of time down there, and I bought some cocaine down there once and went jogging on it. And that's called running the gram, baby. Gang, onward.
I got a question for you. Who do you think would win in a feud between Hillary Clinton and Carol Baskin? Who's got the better hitman? And also, they both kind of look alike, don't they?
They do have a similar visual. When I get that visual of them, they look a little similar. Who would win out of Hillary and Carol Baskin? Ooh. Damn. Well, you know, Hillary's going to have a lot more firepower. She's going to have men in suits doing her business. She's going to have a lot more. She's going to have workers carrying it out. Carol's going to bait you with that kitty and then snuff you out. You know, Carol's going to do that, you know, flowered headdress. Let's go skip through the garden. And then, damn, hit you with that sharp rake. That's a tough one. I mean, Hillary just has so much. There's so much. You know, Hillary's going to be harder to get to. Carol's going to be probably kind of easy access. She's on YouTube. But Hillary, you might be able to bait Hillary more with something. I don't know. It'd be vicious. I'd love to watch them wrestle, man. I would love to watch them wrestle. That's a good one, man. That's a toss-up for me. That is a toss-up for me. What else is going on, man? I'll tell you. I was going to tell you when I was at that school. So I'm at that Lyon Elementary. And this was a secondary. The premier elementary school in our town was Covington Elementary. And Lyons Elementary was secondary. And it was just a type of place. It was the Bad News Bears of education. It was, we didn't have some of the books, people had just written them. Some of the school books, somebody's daddy had written. You're like, Jesus, half of this is wrong. The kickball, it was just a volleyball. And somebody wrote kick on it with a marker. Or marks a lot. The windows had been like repurposed from a local prison. So a lot of them was that, you couldn't see through them. It was just mirror sided. And you'd have people that carved crazy stuff into them. I didn't do it. God shall be my last decider. Just, prison chatter. It was just a secondary elementary. And they had this boy there, this kid, Wyatt Power was his name. And now I mean, in hindsight, that's a wild name to have, dude. You know, Wyatt Power. But at the time, it wasn't anything racial. It was probably like a family name, because I think he was Wyatt, you know, Wyatt Power the Sixth or whatever. And he always had a little cricket on him, or a little salamander. You know, he always had a little snail or something, or a little half a handful of lightning bugs. Daytimers, making him work the daytime shift. And that shit hurt me. That shit hurt my feelings, man. When you see a lightning bug working in the daytime, you can't shake that once you've seen it. But I remember it was show and tell, and he told everybody in class that he was going to get a cricket, right, to pass gas, right? Because remember, when you were a child, this was 3rd grade. So passing gas or farting or doing body fart was about the most, it was kind of like band for kids. I mean, it's the only instrument really. You have 2 instruments, your mouth when you do your underarm like that, and then your butt. So he would do farts, body farts. He said he could get a cricket to do one. So we're all like saying F, 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 or whatever kids say, you know, not F, but whatever means F. F you, Wyatt, all of this and that. BSing him, telling him to go BS himself. Well, here's what occurred. So the day he was supposed to do it, I remember seeing him at recess, and he was just pacing around and just scared, and he was on these shitty monkey bars we had, and a monkey, dude, if a monkey saw these monkey bars, he would not even go by them. You know, they were more for a swan or something. You might see a sparrow on them. Everything at this school was just rot gut. And so I could tell he was nervous. I could tell he was scared, right? And because I'm like, he can't do this. He can't do this. You know, a man can't get a little cricket to do a fart. You know, he can't do it. So anyway, next thing I know, dude, we're back in class, and he had, I guess, gotten some flour, right? And we're all sitting there watching, and the teacher let him do it. You know, they were like, just right before class started, they were going to give him like 2 minutes to, you know, he was a bit of a showman. So I remember, and this happened really fast, but he like threw the flour into, because we're all sitting there in like a semicircle. He threw the flour in everyone's face. And then while we were all kind of, what I guess he thought was going to be blinded by the flour, he turned around and he ended up defecating onto the floor of the classroom. But I think what he had meant to do was pass gas, do fart. I think he had meant to do fart. But he was going to blind us with the flour and then do a fart, a body fart, and then have us believe that the cricket had done it, because there was a cricket. Sorry, there was a cricket there. And instead, man, everybody had flour, and the next thing you know, I just remember it really smelled like poop, and then somebody said, "Oh, Wyatt pooped on the floor," and it was just. You know, it's hard to pull off magic. It's hard to pull off magic if you're doing it all alone. But anyway, man, what else do we have? Let's get into a little bit more so we can get on with our day, man. Thank you guys for all the communication, and thanks for caring that the podcast was late. You know, I was just enjoying myself. You know, I was really just enjoying myself. We got a Patreon question that came in, and this is from Kim Chickens. Camping is fun. Beautiful country out here. How do you like being back inside? Do you have a balcony you can sit on to enjoy nature? I have a park near me, so I go over there. But yeah, it was really nice. You know, I went and stayed at a campground. So, you know, I went and stayed at a campground. I went with my friend, and it was nice. We stayed at a campground one night, stayed by my family's in-laws the other night. My brother and his wife were there with their children. And yeah, just, you hooked the water into the camper and just did it all. You got to take out the gray water, take out the dark water, plugging in for electricity, running the generator. We didn't even use a generator. So that was nice. It was nice and cool. And if you've never driven through Zion National Park, the park wasn't open, but you could drive through it. You could motor on. And hot diggity. It was beautiful. And I like you go to a campground, they got somebody next door, they set up, they bring their whole life out there. They got a strawberry garden. Some people go camp at these campgrounds for a year. They'll do a 6-month lease. You park that thing, plug in the electricity, $50 a night. Beautiful. Great way to spend that stimulus check. Speaking of stimulus check, here's a call that came in.
What's up, Theo? This is Cooper down in Austin, Texas.
What's up, Cooper? Thank you for calling, brother. Onward.
I was just listening to the episode, and you talking about being grateful for the 1,200 and everything, and how our government's really helping us out. And listen, if you're struggling and you needed that 1,200, then I'm definitely glad you got it. But when you really look at it, man, at all the money they spent and printed for the stimulus, it was about $6 trillion. So, that's more than $15,000 per person. Most of that's going to, wealthier people. It's going all back to the top, and the reality is that's our money in the first place. They're just going into debt, robbing future generations. The government doesn't produce any money itself. So it's nice that people are getting a couple crumbs, but number one, it's their money in the first place. And number two, everybody's going into debt an additional almost $20,000 just to get a little thousand. So,
thank you, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, I don't know a ton exactly how it works. I do know that if we just print money, that it lowers the overall value of money because there's more. Some people are just like, just give me money. Give me some dang money, man. Print money, man. You see people out there like, why can't the government just give me $60? Why can't they just give me $60, man? Well, I mean, they can, but it's just like in the end, the overall value of it goes down because if we just print more of it. There's definitely a lot more into it. I think my point I felt like was, just that, and I think you're saying it as well, that like we get to, it's nice on the surface if it looks this way, but that there's bigger things in the background going on that are affecting us more long term. And yeah, I agree, man, that there's a lot happening. But I guess, it's even if the money that we're making ends up lowering the value of our money down the road, if it, it might not be the best long-term move. But yeah, at least we're in a, whether it's good or not, it is interesting that we have, and it makes us feel good that we have a structure here in the U.S. where they can kind of, where at least people are able to be helped. I feel like we do help sometimes the lowest common denominator, people that don't want to contribute. I wish there was a way to see if people are contributing to society. I wish there was an evaluation or a score in a way. But it would have to encompass so many things. It would have to encompass, their ability based on their circumstances, based on their opportunity. It would have to encompass all those things. But yeah, just you get so many opportunities in America. If you lose your home, you can get a you can get a mortgage, you can get a second mortgage, you can lose your home, you can get a mobile home, you could be homeless and still get money from the government. There's shelters. There's so much. There's so many. There's such a structure in place to help us. Now, how long can we keep it going? I don't know. Or at least the facade of it going. I don't know. It's really interesting, man. It's a bigger conversation, but let's hear a little bit more on what you have to say about it.
You got to take a little bit of a deeper look at it sometimes. You can't just take everything on face value. And, we do live in a great country and we live in a great society. And, you can't give all that credit to the government, though. It's just not the case. It's, the free market, it's the people, technology that's allowed us to live such comfortable lives. It ain't the goddamn government, man. So, yeah, man, as Eddie Bravo would say, look into it.
Yeah. Good call, man. Yeah, look into it. Yeah, it's interesting with the virus. Like that's why a lot of people they want to be able to open their businesses back up. They want to be able to go live normal lives again. And if we lived in a communist country or socialist, then the government could say, okay, shut down. You have to do it. That's it. But we don't live in that. We live in, a democracy where people can have businesses, and at a certain point, the people want their rights. They want to be able to run their businesses. So it's really interesting. It's a real experiment, and I understand why people now are like, let's get back. Let's take some chances at getting it back to normal. Other people are like, you want to kill everybody. You're going to kill everybody. Well, some people could stay home. That's the thing about America. It's like everybody has a say. And the government isn't just the be all end all. And the people have a voice, or at least we think that we do, It's interesting, man. It's a lot of interesting levels of stuff going on. I felt like when I was I was just in southern Utah, but I felt like I went to just a whole new world. But I was able to go to restaurants. There was one horrible place I went to called Porter's, I think it was. Jesus Christ. Why would you sell food to somebody if your food isn't any good? You're wasting your time. You're wasting their time. Hey, this is garbage. You want some? You're gonna hate it, and I don't even like it. I work here and I don't even like it. So nobody cares along the entire transaction line. Anyway, let's take another call or two that came in. Man, here we go.
Hey Theo, this is Adrian Gregory calling from down here in Oklahoma.
What's up, Adrian? Thank you for calling, young fella. Gang shit.
I'm sitting here listening to your latest episode, and the guy where he went to college for 9 years and this and that, and that's badass that he graduated finally. Kind of had a similar story, growing up, wrestling, throughout school. Got a couple scholarships for wrestling. Turns out, ended up getting my girlfriend pregnant.
Oh yeah, boy. Wrestling with that ass, you feel me? Wrestling with them ovaries, baby. Gang.
Wife now, we've been together for 13 years, but had to put some of my dreams on hold, but come this December, I'll be graduating and working on power lines out here, gang shit. Keep doing you, man. I really enjoy it. Gang, gang, buzz, buzz.
Man, I like to call, man. You always have to work. We got to stay working, and you say you had to put your dreams on hold, and I could understand that. It's got to be really tough. I've always had the dreams also of having a family and of being able to be in that comfortable situation, and having that place to go home to in the evening, and you open your door and there's somebody there that cares about you and that you care about. and you maintain that. You wake up each day and go to bed each night knowing that, this is my family, and, I'm not straying from this plan, and this is what I'm here to do. And it's funny because to me, that's almost a dream. Telling jokes and screwing around, basically, or whatever I do. I don't know, but that kind of stuff was always the easier part for me. But when I think of walking into a home and, having there be someone that I love and, and I want to touch them and be naughty and everything, and they got a child or something in the other room, maybe doing one of those color by numbers, or doing drawing some shit or something. But, just having that place, having that continuity, there's a lot of power in that. That's a real dream, man. I think, you'll get other chances for your, you got to wrestle. You'll get other chances to wrestle, bro. Hell, you up there wrestling with voltage, daddy. Dude, you up there wrestling with them gigawatts. Dude, that freaking, I'd hate to see one of those strong cables put you in a damn leg lock, son. That shit'd be lights out. Dude, that thing will blow your occipitals right out of your ass. But congratulations, man. 9 years in school, you got it. You got your family. And look, now they got all these older leagues. You could always get into a 40 or older wrestling. I mean, I still want to go and train some jiu-jitsu. I still want to get out there onto the mats. But yeah, we all have dreams, and some of them we get to do now and some of them we get to do later, man. But it sounds like you're making some things come true in your life and also in the lives of others, man. So I see you. I see what you're doing, bro. And be safe up there, dog. Dang, you up there on them power lines, boy, you wildin'. You wildin', bro. Good luck, dude. Don't make me go to a damn YouTube funeral. Don't make me comment buzz because of the power. That would be the first thing I would comment. All right, let's get through. Let's get through this this wonderful episode. We got another text that came in from Patreon. Aaron Lugo, did you see any beautiful stars out in southern Utah? I did see some stars. I did see some nice stars out there. What did I see? Man, the mountains are just, it was the most beautiful place I've seen in America. I mean, it really was. It just so majestic. We went out to Gooseberry Point. We went up to KTR. We found snow for the kiddos, and, the nephews got to throw snow. I met a kid out there who had a mullet just like me, a little fella named Colton or something. Or Colby or something, I think named after the cheese. And just a beautiful group out there. My little nephew was weird, bro. He was putting the front of his pant, like his wet part of his crotch and the front part of his pants in the water. Just cooling off his junk. Just kids are weird, man. Kids are weird and they're wonderful, but they're also weird. But yeah, I had a nice time, man. I was lucky to be able to go do that, and it was a little risky at first, but look, I think we're going to smoothly get back into regular life, and I'm looking forward to it. That's really what I think. And I hope everybody's adjusting and getting ready to adjust comfortably. And I hope that people have found some joy and some good things have happened to them during this time. Let's take a call. Here we go. 985-664-9503.
Hey, Theo. This is Tanner from Nebraska.
What up, Tanner? And from Nebraska, baby.
And this is my third time calling. The first time I ended it a little short, and the second time I got interrupted by a work call. So I just wanted to say that my car got broken into, and I lost all my tools that I need for school because I'm going to be an electrician. I'm on the last quarter to be an electrical technology associate degree. So I just wanted to tell everybody to be safe and keep your tools locked up, and don't leave prescription glasses because they'll take those too. They'll take everything, your aux cord, and even my cologne. So there must be a market out there for that, for used cologne. But
well, I used to, my mother for a little while was in the secondary magnet market. People throw magnets away and they don't want them anymore, refrigerator magnets and that kind of shit. And for a while there, in the 90s, there was a secondary market there for magneting. Onward.
They left my car next, so that's good. But I just want to say thanks for everything you do. Stay safe, lock your cars, lock your house. Gang, gang, buzz, buzz.
Gang, man, I'm sorry to hear about your tools, man. That really... Who would take your tools, dude? You got to finish up school, man. Let me see if I can hit your hotline here, dog. Tanner got them hitters. Hey, man, this is Theo Vaughn, bro. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Hey, how's it going, man? I got your call about the tools, man. What happened?
Yeah, so it was this last Sunday, and I went over to my girlfriend's house, and she lives like 5 minutes away from us, where I live with my two buddies. And I went over to her house for a normal night, and I came out, and I got in my car. I just noticed everything was kind of thrown around. And I was like, oh, that's kind of weird. Maybe my girlfriend came in the night and threw stuff around. And so the first thing I did is I went out in the trunk, and all my tools, everything was gone. My sunglasses were gone. They left me my chapstick, but yeah, everything was gone.
Oh, man, dude, that's the worst, bro. I'm sorry to hear that, dude. And it's for school?
Yeah, so I'm in a trade school to be an electrician, and I'm in my last quarter. So I do my plumbing class, which is now online because of Corona, but then, so my next step is just to get a job out in the field, and then I'm done with my degree.
Word, man. Well, congratulations. You're almost being done with the degree. I wanted to see if maybe we couldn't help out by, if there's tools that you still need replacing, man, we'd love to replace them for you.
Well, yeah, I mean, that'd be awesome. I mean, honestly, I've tried to tell everyone, this is just, a horrible thing that happened, but, I mean, it does happen, and, I mean, I've been in a pretty great position with my family. They've kind of taken care of me, and it's really remarkable. All the people have reached out and asked me if I needed tools, so, I mean, there is some stuff that would be nice to get, but I don't want to force you guys.
Oh, no. Well, no, man, I like your attitude, brother. Yeah, we'd love to, we'll have Nick reach out and see if there's a couple of things that we can't help out with, or, things that you need to, that you still need. And whatever it is, man, we want to help out, dude. I think it's cool to get a trade, and, and especially, you're there so close to the finish line, and I hate it when that kind of stuff happens, man.
Yeah, I told, my buddy's dad, I told him about it because I work for him at the moment, and he said just make sure you don't lose your faith in humanity, because not all people are like that, and that kind of hit home for me. And, I mean, you can't just walk around with your head down. I mean, it's a bad lesson that I had to learn, and it sucks, but, I mean, not all people are like that, so.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true, man. I love that lesson, bro. I'm glad you just said that, man. It's because it's so easy that we could just say, oh, everything's like that. It's so easy to just jump on that. It's a little harder to keep our own head up and to kind of hold the line and say, you know what, that's just one thing that happened. It's unfortunate, but that's not everybody.
Yeah, and I mean, the best thing is if you start thinking about it like that, then, I mean, think of all the times that it hasn't happened to you. Like, how many times have you gotten to somewhere safely and you haven't even thought about, wow, I didn't die today? Like, it's easy to focus on the negatives, but it's hard to, like, focus on the positives. So that's my kind of message, and that's what I've learned over this last week of just kind of working through it and just protecting myself and my family. Is just recognize when you do have something good. So.
Yeah. Yeah, I love it, man. I love your attitude, man. I'm gonna have Nick reach out and keep in touch, and if there's things that we can help you replace, or anything you know that you need to help you get through to the end of the semester, we want to help out.
Well, yeah, I appreciate it so much, and thank you guys for doing everything you do. You keep me going through it and everything, so I appreciate it.
Well, that's nice of you to say, man, and best of luck too with this last semester.
Thank you so much, Theo.
All right, peace, Tanner, man. Have a good day, brother.
Yep, gang.
All right, gang, bro. Peace. Man, that's nice. You know, that's nice to be reminded. Oh, it's nice to be reminded that, you know, we can look at, we can look at all the rocks, or we could ride in the river, man. Yeah, that really hit me is to focus on the good, bro. There's a lot of good out there, a lot of fun stuff going on, a lot of people having fun. We'll take this last call that came in. This was kind of wild, but I wanted to hear it.
Hey, what's up, Theo? This is Tyler from Texas. I wanted to tell you that I rear-ended your car on my 18th birthday in Covington, Louisiana. And you got out, and I was like, oh my God, it's my birthday. And I just crashed my car, and I had a Ford Focus, and you had I think it was a Camry or something. And you said, it's your birthday? And I said, yeah. And you said, it's all right, man, get out of here. And you let me go. Never forget that shit. Gang.
That's funny, man. That's funny. Well, I'm glad that it worked out that way, Tyler, man. Dude, I remember I would borrow a Camry sometimes, and I wasn't supposed to be doing, and I would get, I would dip chewing tobacco real heavy, that plug tobacco, and I'd vomit out of the windows of it. So who knows, man? I could have been not in a car that I was supposed to be in, but I'm glad we both made it out unscathed from that. Thank you guys, man. Thanks for making this episode was fun. This was fun. Just hearing, getting people's different points of views, and just, I don't know, just being alive. There's fun. This is it. This is the gift. And a lot of the gift is each other, and a lot of the gift is the experiences that we have and sharing them. And I'm not trying to preach that. I believe that. I believe that, and I believe that right now after this episode. This just made me feel it was fun. I got a guy here who we got in a car accident. We got some blacksmiths. We got a guy making black people in Canada. I mean, if that isn't, that's beautiful. If that isn't trying to help another race, I don't know what is, man. It's just, there's a lot going on, brother. There's a lot going on. I'll take one more. Let's go.
Hey, Theo. This is Tate from Des Moines. I'm just calling in. I listened to that ladies' night, and man, it touched my soul, man, in a lot of ways. You're talking about life and what's going on in these current times, and I just wanted to call in, man. I've been listening for a while now, and you do help people, man. You really do, and I'm sure you know it. I'm sure you get told it every day, but I mean, I struggle with some of the same problems that you do, man, like not being able to lead myself, that addiction piece and that depression piece, man, it's legit. I've been struggling with that for a couple years now. It's a daily battle, and you know it like I know it. Like everyone that struggles with it knows it. But I did just get a new dog, and I named him Theo. It's pretty cool, man. You helped me a lot, and take care, man. Love you.
Love you too, bro. Thanks, man. Thanks for the nice message, dude. If that dog starts doing cocaine, boy, you know it. You know then we are of the same breed for sure. But nah, man, you know, you do the same thing for me, man, by making that call, and it is a daily battle. You know, a lot of people that struggle with addiction and that sort of thing, man, when you have a brain like us, I don't think other people realize this. My problem every day isn't not drinking or doing drugs. My problem is me. And just something inside of me that doesn't fit correctly, and that every day I have to get up and I have to sand it, and I have to make sure that it's going to, it's like this puzzle piece that regrows overnight, and it can regrow negatively overnight, and I got to get up in the morning, and I got to evaluate what's going on before I can attach myself to the rest of the world, or things ain't going to be real kosher. But thank you for that, bro. Thank you for the nice message, man. A lot of good people around these parts, bro. Let's roll out the same way we came in, man. I know some of y'all like to get bent out, and so a good song to do it to is this one right here, man. Drunk Outdoors. You guys take care of yourselves, man. Be good to yourself, you know. I'm gonna try to do the same. All right, yeah. A burner, I see his face down on the corner, cooking with gas on the front burner. The trunk that outdoors. If you got money, get that hitter. A little bit. Get that hitter. About to roll right into taping an episode of King and the Sting here. So this has been a great prep for that, man. It's put me in a comfortable place, man. And thank you to the North Mississippi All-Stars in this song, Drunk Outdoors. We'll put a link where you can get that hitter, man, in the YouTubes.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Jonathan Kite, and welcome to Kite Club, a podcast where I'll be sharing thoughts on things like current events, stand-up stories, and 7 ways to pleasure your partner. The answer may shock you. Sometimes I'll interview my friends. Sometimes I won't. And as always, I'll be joined by the voices in my head.
You have 3 new voice messages.
A lot of people are talking about Kite Club. I've been talking about Kite Club for so long, longer than anybody else. So great. Hey, sweetheart, here's the deal. Anyone who doesn't listen to Kite Club is a dodgy bloody wanker. Do you know what I mean?
Hi, I'll take a quarter pounder with cheese and a McFlurry.
Sorry, sir, but our ice cream machine is broken.
Oh, no!
I think Tom Hanks just butt-dialed me. Anyway, first rule of Kite Club is tell everyone about Kite Club. Second rule of Kite Club is tell everyone about Kite Club. Third rule, like and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts or watch us on YouTube, yeah? And yes, don't worry, my Brad Pitt impression will get better.